What's going on? It ain't even 6 o'clock yet. We're on the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Sloppy game on Monday Night Football last night saw 6 turnovers for both teams as the Bears proved to be the shinier of two turds as they win the first NFC North game of Matt Eberflus's Chicago tenure, 12-10. Josh Dobbs finished with 185 passing yards, 1 touchdown to T.J. Hockenson, and 4 interceptions. Chicago moves to 4-8, while the Vikings fall to 6-6 and the last playoff spot in the NFC. Some football moves from around the league yesterday. Raiders released cornerback Marcus Peters, had an interception return for a touchdown in Week 8, but was benched last week. The move saves the team $1.5 million in incentives that Peters was on pace to earn. And the Dolphins are expected to sign pass rusher Jason Pierre-Paul off the Saints practice squad and onto their 53-man roster, a big-name edge addition after Jalen Phillips' injury. The Florida native lands in Miami. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Out of the blocks and off and running on a Tuesday morning edition of RKW. We are brewed by 8th Roast, and today you need 1 large 8th Roast coffee for your hands and 1 for your brain. 1 to warm you up, 1 to wake you up. It is cold outside, ladies and gentlemen. With Ramon Foster, Robert Walsh, our producer, Kayla Anderson with the morning off for one more day. My name is Will Bowling. The phone number is 615-737-1045. Lots of college football to get into this morning, and lots of things to do to stay warm in the studio this morning as well, Ramon. Good morning.
Good morning, Will. You actually have on a sweatshirt today, man.
I do.
Hoodie, thick boy, too. Braves representing at all times.
Right.
Still is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But you are never a guy that really complains about the cold like this often. I'm a little shocked. It truly lets me know that it's actually cold if you're actually complaining about it slightly.
It's terrible. It's genuinely terrible. How have you? I don't know how you've never heard me complain about the cold.
Not like this. You make it seem like your bones are shivering a little bit, and they might be. Will. It's just if we're going to be honest, man. But it is cold outside. I got in the vehicle quick. Having a remote start small flex is actually a real clutch thing in this economy, okay? And I'm proud to say I'm glad it's becoming more and more standard on cars, man. So, yeah, definitely.
I've got to set this up. I have got to set it up. Because this morning I literally ran out to start my car and then ran back inside to wait because I was not driving to work with it freezing like that.
It was that type of cold for you, Bert.
That's what I'm saying.
You actually mentioned it to me. It's like, it's cold. I was like, wait a minute. Not the studio bear, not Bert.
Don't be
Studio bear?
Don't be calling me. If anybody is a bear, you would be the bear. I am like your cub. I would be the studio cub.
That's fair. That is Bert. Correction. You're the studio cub,
Heck
man.
yeah.
We're going to have all sorts of new inside jokes for when Kayla comes back, aren't we?
It's going to be like, oh, my God. We got a Ramon snort this morning. It's one of those mornings, man.
It was one of those mornings,
Good start.
man.
6:02. I hope you bet the under.
Dog, yesterday, adamantly making it a point to go back to the gym. So much so today I wore my tights, and I'm going to the gym. I'm going for something, okay? And let's get broke off on the Stairmaster, right? It's that time of the year, though, man, and I'm all for giving. I absolutely. Y'all know me. Will, you a recipient. Everybody's a recipient. Like, we all give. I enjoy the gift of giving.
Yeah, you want to give us breakfast this morning or something? Like, what's this leading up to?
I got mine, okay? I'm trying not to be recognized as a football player anymore when I roll with the Titans, okay? Is that okay? Fair?
It's fair.
All right, there we go. So I go to the gym yesterday, and I'm leaving. My establishment is a real cool place. I like going there. I can get in. I can get out. They've added more Stairmaster machines because they're realizing that people actually use them a whole lot. They only had, I think, like 4 or 5 a little while ago. Now they got like 8 of them, and I'm loving it, okay? So I get my time in, broke myself off, and I'm leaving the gym. And up front, it's the season of giving. Almost every store you probably go to this holiday season, I'm all for it. But these dudes weren't even braving the cold outside yesterday. They were tucked inside the gym with their table, just asking people for, like donations or signing up for stuff. And as tired and sweaty and just, let me get on to my next task in my life today on a Monday, a dude couldn't even really get a word out, okay? You ever had like a motive just to leave an establishment so bad that even the people that wanted you to give something to them, you just like, nah, I got no time. Like, dude's like, hey, man, I was like, no, I'm cool. I understand what you got going on, but I'm a roll, man. Like, he probably is like, I hate my job today. And I wasn't even rude to him, but it was just one of the moments like, you're not about to hit me in the emotional holiday feels, man, just because you inside this gym, not even working out or braving the cold weather. I wasn't like bad to him, but it was just really like, not today, bro. Can't do it.
I've had to do that to so many Girl Scouts. Like, I don't need your cookies, lady. Leave me alone. How about you go ask some more other people? Don't ask me.
Nice. Good work.
That was good work by you. That was good work. But I just say that to say I didn't even feel bad about it yesterday. I was just like, nah, man, y'all got it. You got to figure out a new hustle today. It might get me today, though. But yesterday, Will, I had nothing for him. Plus, I had no cash on him. And, of course, hey, we got Venmo. I don't today.
Right now. I don't. What's a Venmo?
What's a Venmo?
I'm going to turn it to my parents real quick.
I don't even
know what that is.
Cards, man.
Yeah.
I carry around cash like my granddaddy, okay? That's it. And I ain't got that on me because I'm in the gym.
Season of giving, not season of getting.
Exactly, Will. Kind of tripped me out. Either way, it's that time of the year, man. I'm excited. We got we're gonna build a field full of toys real soon too.
Right. Week from today,
man. So I am looking forward to. By the way, Bert, you don't have to be out there. It's one of the one times you're gonna be really lucky. Wear some like wool socks and boots, Uggs. Never thought I'd be an advocate of Uggs.
You telling Bird to just come suffer with us?
I mean, if he want to be a team player, he comes out and kick it with us.
Suffer in the weather context. It is one of our favorite events of the year.
It is.
For sure.
Although, Bert did go to a Vols game, so he gets a pass for a while. I'm with that, Bert.
This is true.
Yeah.
615-737-1045, the number. Coming up this morning, Jeffery Simmons talked to us on yesterday's show, or you revisit that conversation coming up in about 15 minutes, exactly what he had to say about a defense that is starting to communicate more clearly as of Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. We'll take a look at the coaching hires around college football, where Mississippi State and Texas A&M both have coaches. I got to be honest, yesterday, the video of all of the Texas A&M, I guess, AD and select boosters, I don't know if these were athletic department personnel people, and they were all doing the Aggie War hymn and swaying back and forth with new head coach Mike Elko. Somebody actually dubbed that over a Righteous Gemstones song of There Will Be a Payday, and it was all of them swaying to There Will Be a Payday from
Stop it.
Righteous Gems. And it actually is the closest I've ever been to watching that show.
Mike Elko is the new Baby Billy.
Yeah,
I love
apparently.
that.
There's nobody like Baby Billy.
Apparently.
Oh, well, you got to watch Righteous Gemstones.
I know.
It's close. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Then we've got Tennessee Vandy takeaways. Vols getting the job done on Saturday. I was in the building for that one, and certainly some interesting things I think you may have noticed or not noticed if you were in the building versus not.
Yeah.
So we will get to that at 8 o'clock. Austin Price of allquest.com. Interesting the way college football quickly, just like a lot of other sports now, goes straight into free agency starting next week with the transfer portal opening, and we'll get to the biggest targets Tennessee has in the transfer portal and potentially a few players who could be entering it with Austin Price, who will give us the inside info on that. And then we've got Ron Slay, of course, in hour number 4. Tennessee, North Carolina tomorrow in the Dean Dome. Gonna be pretty good.
Should be pretty good. I had a buddy of mine yesterday. I was at a basketball gym, of course. He was like, man, I listened to you guys for hours, and all I could think is they're going to get to Michigan. they're going to get to Michigan. It's like, you guys didn't even get to Michigan. He was like, man, 3 in a row. I was like, man, tomorrow's college football Tuesday.
That's
okay.
right.
I said, we're going to get to him, I promise you, at some point, whether your coach, did what he did or not.
It's just another Michigan fan playing the victim card is what I hear. Let's talk about him at 6:08. Michigan 30, Ohio State 24. 12-play drive at the end of the game to give Michigan a 6-point lead, and that was enough for the Wolverines.
I tell you what, Ohio State fans do not know how to handle losing.
No, they do not.
God, I didn't know they were that bad. I guess you'd see the true test of a person whenever they lose a couple or two. And that's the thing, they freaking 11-1. Imagine being mad about that, Will.
They are the worst.
I love it.
Their fans are going through it more than Auburn fans were.
They are.
On the internet over the weekend. Which, granted, a lot of Auburn fans were smart and just didn't get on the internet after their loss to Alabama.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, that's fair.
I wouldn't have. I would have turned my phone off.
Yeah.
After a loss like that.
I just can't believe the succession of that play. Like how it all broke down from. Yeah, we'll talk definitely about that a little bit more.
Has a defensive coordinator ever been fired for one play? Because if there was ever a time to fire a defensive coordinator over one play, this is it. Spying a quarterback on 4th and goal from the 31.
Hey, let him relax.
That's a special kind of stupid.
It's so much, and I'll say it now, but like blocking the 2 or 3 man rush is by far one of the hardest things. As much as I don't want to give Alabama credit, I think the most flagrant point of it all is yours. You can't just sit that linebacker right there. You just can't. You gotta move him around. Jalen Milroe just stood there and delivered. Do you want to call it a perfect pass?
It was a perfect pass. Absolutely.
A perfect pass, man. I counted them out. When that snap was fumbled right past him, I was like, oh, that's ball game. And then, of course, I think we all took pictures of the reaction of people on TV from Auburn afterwards. I got some real good gems, man. I got some good gems of people I took pictures of. Posted on social media, too. Wow. That game was done. Can he be fired for that? Oh, no. That's just a bad play, Will, for Auburn at home. One friggin' play with the time expiring out. You got to flush him out. You have to flush out Jalen Milroe. Now Bama's probably going to be in the college football. Well, no, they got to be Georgia.
Yeah, no, they got to be Georgia, and then still they might not be in, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
We are looking at it's the last time we're going to have rhetoric around a college football playoff to this extent, because I do not believe that we're going to be as hotly contesting who's the 12th team, or in some cases, who's the 11th team, as much as we talk about who the 4th team is. But that being said, it is going to be nice to actually see these conversations played out on a football field starting next season. And it seems like this is the first year. We talked about it before the season, how many teams could actually win the national championship. It does feel like 6 or 7 teams could feasibly win the national championship, or at least get to the national championship, because Texas and Alabama, I think, are pretty equal. Florida State, I think, is probably the 6th or 7th best team, but they're going to make it if they go undefeated and win the ACC. It's just the simple fact of where they are. You've got an Oregon team that's peaking at the right time. You've got Washington that just keeps winning football games, even though they're about an 8.5-point underdog to Oregon this upcoming weekend. It is a very interesting time to be a neutral college football fan, because honestly, I'm just cheering for Louisville to beat Florida State so we can avoid Florida State getting beat by 60 points in the first round of the playoff.
Yeah. And Louisville may mess around and get them simply because they don't have their quarterback. Florida State doesn't.
Right.
I know they had a young stud behind them, and Louisville took a bad loss to Kentucky. So it's always that bounce back from those types of games. If I was a betting man, I'd probably go Louisville in this one just on the basis of quarterback play. And the fact that Louisville actually already lost a bad game.
615-737-1045, the number. Coming up, Titans defensive end Jeffery Simmons joins the show. We'll start with him. Austin Price at 8:20, Ron Slay at 9:20, and You're Not That Guy in hour 2 coming up at 7:20 as well. 615-737-1045, streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. We'll hear from Big Jeff coming up next. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. Is your heating system ready for the cold weather of winter? Available 24/7, 365. The professional Lee Company team is here to help. And odds are, if your heating system is not ready for the cold weather of winter, you found that out in the last 48 hours. Well, I've got good news for you. Lee Company's technicians, they will perform a 22-point inspection as well as seasonal cleaning and maintenance to keep your home running efficiently this fall and winter. Even better, save $20 on your next heating tune-up visit today. That's $20 off on your home's next heating service. And look, this is something you want to take care of now while overnight temperatures are still in the 30s and don't start dropping down in maybe the 20s or the teens as we move forward into December and January. So get $20 off your home's next heating service with Lee Company. Contact them at 615-567-1000 or online at leecompany.com for an appointment to keep your home's heating in check. That's Lee Company, all you need. RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone, streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, where you can watch and join the discussion in the F&M Bank chat. Just go to the comments section right there, and you are in it. Ready to go this morning. Download the 104.5 The Zone app at the App Store as well. Take you with us as you go into work or into your living room to work, wherever you are. 615-737-1045 our number. We'll get to our conversation with Jeffery Simmons coming up in just a few minutes. But first, we go to the phone lines where Dougie is in Nashville. Wonder if Dougie could teach us how to Dougie or how many times he gets asked that. What's up, Dougie?
No, I'm not in Kentucky.
I
Good
love
morning. How y'all doing?
Great.
Yeah, I still think Florida State's a top 4 team, the way that defense showed up in the swamp. But I just want to tell all the Gator fans good morning and go Noles. And if you see me out today, don't spit on me.
Dougie bringing that.
Thank you, Dougie.
Hey, what a quick drive-by that was, too, man.
Still, yeah, absolutely. Florida State deserves credit for going to the swamp and winning.
Yeah.
My brain can't really wrap around what it's like to do that because my team hasn't done it since I was in elementary school.
Like, why do teams rise up against the Vols the way they do at all times, dog? It's just like the most phantom just wins happen against the Vols. It blows my mind. We're going to break this curse eventually at some point in time. I don't even want to call it a curse. We got smashed by Florida down there, man. But I was glad to see from start to finish how Florida State wrecked them. Man, they did wreck them, too. That was a real good game also.
Let's go back to the phones. Cornbread is in Hermitage. What's up, Cornbread?
Hey, good morning, Will and Big Savage. I got a question. I thought Vanderbilt players and students were supposed to be smart, and I get that there's a lot of emotion during the game. I played high school football, but, man, 6 of you going to charge the Tennessee sideline right before halftime? And Slade would say, that's just dumb.
Yeah.
That's just, you're waiting for a country butt whooping doing some stupid stuff like that.
Yeah. You walk in somebody's front yard, you better be prepared to handle what's coming back at you.
Thank you, Cornbread. Appreciate the call.
Thank you, Cornbread. We got to get the Big Jeff, but we definitely going to talk about that.
We've got a minute.
That was, Will, to me, one of the most flagrant things I think we've seen. And if it was any other school, I ain't going to say ever seen. It's just, if that was any other school, all the crowds would be loud. It would be atrocious. You got to fire the coach. The culture sucks. You guys have no class. Thugs, look at them. They just want to fight. Everything would have come out. Vandy gets a pass. I understand it. And I know that the succession of plays that happened leading up to that kind of fueled the fire a little bit. Rivalry, whatever you want to call it. You cannot sprint over to the opposing team sideline like that, man. Whatever had happened, whether a helmet swinging back at them, whether it be just bad moments for them to just get their butt smashed in, you don't run in nobody's front yard like that unless you're ready to fight. You don't do that, man. And I don't care where you are, who you are. You storm that field, your fists need to be up. And whatever comes back your way needs to get handled, man. That's not okay. Class or no class, call that what it was. I'm almost like into the you're not that guy right now. That's a bad look for Vandy. And I get it. Why? Inexcusable still. You lost control of your team.
Well, and Clark Lee lost control in the sideline. And I said that on Twitter in the stadium, in Neyland Stadium on Saturday. And it's always funny, Ramon, when people don't like something that you've said, they just call it a hot take.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of my favorite things on the internet. If I say something bad about your team that you don't like, it's apparently a hot take. It's really not a hot take that you should control your team a little bit better and not have them run from one sideline to the other after a couple plays where, yeah, your quarterback got hit. There's probably a penalty that needs to be thrown on Tyler Barron for hitting your quarterback after the whistle that nobody could hear. And you should be able to move on from that a couple plays later and not just rip a guy's helmet off like Tennessee and Vandy were doing to each other after a simple run play on 3rd down and 40, after the 15-yard penalty and the sack and everything that had happened on multiple plays in a row between Vanderbilt and Tennessee. I think the biggest thing, though, to me was Clark Lee going out of his way to protect his guys, kind of set an example that his players followed in that moment.
Yeah.
To turn things up a notch that it probably didn't need to be turned up to. and I was in the stadium. You could not hear a whistle on the first hit that Vanderbilt took. And again, on the second one, you got to teach your quarterback to throw the ball into the dirt when he sees a delay of game penalty or he sees a false start penalty. How many times do we see this in the NFL where there is a free play, a free rusher coming after you as a quarterback, and you just immediately spike the ball?
Got to. You have to. Absolutely have to. Well, that is a huge portion of learning to be a pro and growing up, too, is understanding circumstance. I just can't get over the fact that nobody's loud about the fact that Vanderbilt stormed the field in a losing game also. Like, it was low is kind of the way I look at it. To not play football, but to fight. Like, if the Vols had reacted, and you got to give that sideline some praise on that one because it could have got ugly. I know some dudes that would have been ready to get active with what Vanderbilt had going on, and it was a little pushing. But when you storm the field the way, think about when somebody charged a baseball mound. Like, it gets real nasty in those moments right there, and these guys are bigger, stronger with pads, with a freaking helmet in their hand, and you run, it's 53 yards across the field. They ran about 49 of them to go fight.
And nobody was thrown out of the game either. Yeah. It was interesting. It was funny. I texted my buddies of like, this feels like a legit rivalry today. And I got a text back from one of my college teammates who's like, no, it's not. This is not a rivalry still. I mean, genuinely, that is such a that was Vanderbilt's bowl game Saturday. And they acted like it.
Yeah.
It was not for Tennessee. Tennessee's bowl game will probably be in Jacksonville in a few weeks. Let's get to our conversation with Titans defensive end Jeffery Simmons, who joined the show. And the first question is, what in the world do we introduce Jeffery Simmons as, an offensive player or a defensive player?
We're just gonna call it like the Atlanta guys. They got him as listed as Joker.
Joker.
I gotta come up with a different name. He could play anywhere on the field.
Perfect.
Fullback, tight end, defensive line. So got to come up with a different name than Joker.
Renaissance man, Joker, football guy, Jeffery Simmons with us this morning here on RKW. Jeff, man, how big of a relief is it with the few weeks you guys have had, just the ability to celebrate a win in that locker room yesterday?
Man, it's felt amazing. They needed to actually get back on the winning side of it. We've been talking for so long, just trying to eliminate bad football and literally just stop beating ourselves because a lot of stuff, is not communicating. Guys, especially on the defensive side, not on the same page. The front not on the same page at the back end, or the back end not on the same page at the front end. It's great just to get back on the same page and kind of just get that. I wouldn't even say get the swagger back because the swagger been there. I think we just finally kind of released it. Like I said, it felt so good to get that win yesterday. And like I said, all three phases. We got a lot of stuff to clean up, but man, it was amazing just to get a win. And no better way to do it at home.
Man, Big Jeff, yesterday, man, I know you had a big day yesterday, man. 5 tackles, a sack, 3 TFLs. But I know in the spirit of competition, man, Danico kind of let you have it because he had 2 sacks on the day. Did you hear from him much at all yesterday on the day he had?
Yeah, man, as I told you guys, I think I told you guys like a while back, maybe 2 years ago, that man, Danico sorted all that bet. Like I said, just close them out. Of every game we have is no matter win or loss, we compete with each other and whoever had the best stats. And of course, we weren't even talking about the 2 sacks he got or the 1 I got. We was talking about the one that we missed. Both sacks that he missed, I ended up missing right after him. So that's what we talk about, man. We of course, we celebrate the sacks that we get but the thing is, we both be like so pissed off about it, just the sack that we missing and the play that we missing on the field, leaving on the field. So, it's like I said, playing with a guy like Nico, man, it's unbelievable. It's fun, and because I know his passion out there. I don't know you guys see it sometime on the sideline. He really want to win. He want to win this matchup. So, it's just amazing to play with a guy like Nico.
Man, Will told us Coach Rabel used a TikTok on you guys, man, to kind of show, like, let's do the basics right. And I think we saw a little bit of that yesterday come to the forefront where Bryce Young, number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, has a level of elusiveness to move around, right? But you guys are able to get to him and make him have more incompletions than anything. How was it, you guys' pursuit of his and also trusting the back end of this defense to do their job, too, yesterday?
Well, we talked about it. Especially early in the week, we talked about just being able to put them under duress and, try to affect them. We knew what we were going against, especially with the offensive line. They call it what it is. We didn't, I didn't think that was very good on film. And, but just being able to affect the game, especially up front, we knew that was what it was going to take. And God just was on the same, like I said, God was on the same page. We was working together. We were just trying to affect the football, and that's what one of the defensive keys this week was find a way to affect the football, work together to affect the football as a defense. So I think we did a hell of a job of that. The guys on the back end, their goal was to take away number 19, Thielen, and I think they did a hell of a job of that. So, the touchdown that they had, we could have been a little better on that drive, especially with the penalties and stuff like that nature. But I think we had a hell of a game plan on the defensive side yesterday, and, we just executed.
Jeffery Simmons, our guest this morning here on RKW. Going back, Jeff, to talking about the communication piece, how difficult is that working with 2 new starters behind you at inside linebacker, Azeez Al-Shire and Jack Gibbons? Do you feel like the communication is improved, and where specifically do you guys need to continue that and continue to take steps forward communicating better as a defense?
I don't, because I've been with Gibby and Z's. Of course, Z's first year with the Titans. Gibby was here last year. So it's not about kind of like that. I don't look at it, these guys new out here.
Sure.
Because everyone getting taught the same thing. They're getting taught the same thing that everybody else is getting taught. So it's like when you're in these meetings and you're on the practice field, doing camp, that's where all the frustration happens at. When guys new and we all trying to get on the same page, that's when frustration happens. When the season time, when we out there, and I think that's what the message was, get back to the basics. We had a lot of base calls out there, and that allowed guys to play fast. There's not much thinking and stuff out there. So, it's always good to have good linebackers who want to win, and you could tell that, especially with Azeez. I guess especially with him coming from San Fran. So I think just having them guys, him and Gibby. I don't think I ever played with someone as smart as Gibby. He's a very smart linebacker, and you can tell that even the coaches depend on him when the smart that need to come out of Gibby, it comes out. So, like I said, it's the communication. When I say communication, I think it's all 3 levels. I think especially when even when they get in the red zone or stuff like that, or when they want to go hurry up on the ball. Maybe just make sure everyone get a call, and you get a call, give a call. So, like I said, it's been great. It's been great with them 2 linebackers. Like I said, I think as a whole defense, we all just have to keep that communication up, and because you said we have a lot of new faces on the field. Even like guys like Kava, coming in middle of the season and starting at safety. So, like I said, if we could just continue to communicate, make sure everyone on the same page, and we can have a great defense.
Jeff, how hard is it when things aren't going your way as a defense to not do too much, letting plays come to you, and finding that balance between still being aggressive, playing with that violence and that aggression Mike Vrabel talks about, but not freelancing and kind of doing your own thing? Is that something you guys talk about in the meeting room?
Yeah, like I said, that's what the message was this week. It's no sense to try to start switching stuff up. There's no sense of trying to make the plays that that you really not supposed to make it, or you're not going to make it. At the end of the day, just play your game, be patient, don't come up with no new things, especially when it comes down to your details and stuff like that, your fundamentals, because we just got to go back to what got us here. especially, in this league, especially during camp when Coach talking about, the things that help us win and the things that have won us games around here. That's something we have to get back to. And I think we did a hell of a job with that this past weekend. But like I said, at the end of the day, man, no one should try to come up with new things and try to start doing their own things. Because I think we know what helped us win around here.
Jeff, I saw you forklift and a 300-pound guard yesterday and move them and go make a TFL also, man. I just got to ask you because I ain't played on the NFL level, but I saw you do that. How did it actually feel to know that you moved a 300-pounder like that?
I mean, man, it's just, you don't really, sometimes with me, I don't really know exactly what the hell is happening sometimes because, it's until you see like a replay or something like that. But when you're out there, man, you just I just play free. I don't whoever crosses me, man. Like I said, when I'm out there and you try to block me 1-on-1, I just feel like that's bad luck and bad shape on the other team. So each time I step out there, I know I'm getting that 1-on-1, especially on that play you talking about, man. I was like, yep, I got to win this one. You don't get that many opportunities like that, especially with the 1-on-1. So, like I said, it felt great, man, just to be able to, especially when I see the replay on the screen and, I'd be like, yep, I'm strong. So, man, like I said, it's different like I said, sometimes you just don't know exactly what just happened, especially because you've been in the moment and playing, trying to just make a play, but then you see the replay, you're like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's just a good feeling, though, man, because especially when your family, after the game, like, man, why you do that, man, like that?
See, and that's where I came from, Jeff, as an offensive lineman.
There was some hurt in your voice there, wasn't there?
There was a little bit of hurt in my voice saying you do that, Jeff, but I get it, man. I'm with you on that one.
Oh, definitely, man.
Love it. Jeffery Simmons, Titans Joker, we'll call him. Our guest this morning on Ramon Kayla Will. Jeff, best of luck the rest of the way this season, man. Thanks so much for the time.
Most definitely. Appreciate you guys for having me.
There he is, Jeffery Simmons with us, giving us some interesting insight, Ramon, into the communication level on a defense that, at least on Sunday, was on the same page in a way it has not been at times the rest of the season.
Hey, word, man. It's good to kind of hear that. And also, too, he said a huge point right there. He was talking about winning your one-on-ones. Those moments I know I'm lined up one-on-one, go for a dub, man. That's so good to hear that be said. And I think more of that has to happen for this team moving forward because there's still a sliver of a chance, Will.
Always. Not much of one, but a sliver. Just like when your parents ask you, hey, can you go get me another piece of pie up there? But just a little one. I don't need a big one. Just a little piece of pie. Probably heard that over the weekend.
You know what my granddaddy called that? Just a taste.
Ours, my parents would say, just a sliver.
Just a sliver.
I just need a sliver. 615-737-1045. Coming up next, college football has the ability to give us headlines that no other sport could possibly bring us. And there is one bowl game that gave us a headline that I don't think we'll ever see again yesterday. That's next on RKW. So college football has the ability to give us headlines that I genuinely believe if you told someone about them that didn't know college football, they would never watch our sport. It's RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. 615-737-1045 our number. Nicole Auerbach reports yesterday that the Pop-Tarts Bowl will have the first ever edible mascot. Yes, an edible mascot. Per the bowl game, when the final whistle blows, the winning team will celebrate by taking a bite out of the giant pastry mascot. What is the best flavor a pastry mascot could be in a Pop-Tart Bowl?
Strawberry immediately first. That one's first because it's just the OG version of it. And then after that, it's the chocolate chip one.
Interesting. I've never had the chocolate chip one, actually.
I'm just not a big chocolate guy. I was allergic to chocolate as a kid, and I just have an aversion to it now. Yeah, I would break out in hives and couldn't breathe. My first, maybe my second birthday, my mom got me a chocolate birthday cake, and I promptly, like most kids do, I just slammed my face in it. And when they peeled it off my face, wiped it off my face, I was just red, covered in hives. So then I just generally don't eat chocolate anymore. I would probably go with the frosted blueberry, though.
I'm not a big blueberry, pastry fan, but I get it, like blueberry muffins. Yeah,
whatever the blue flavor was.
I never could. Okay, blue raspberry do it for you too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Blue raspberry is generally the best flavor of candy too.
That's true. Best Pop-Tart is brown sugar cinnamon.
Brown sugar cinnamon.
No doubt.
You're right.
It's so good. Genuinely so good. That's what they had in the vending machines when I was in high school. So that is also what I am partial to.
Okay.
When in doubt, guys, when you ever are wondering where a bowl game is, this is going to be good practice for 40 bowls in 14 days coming up in just a couple of weeks. When in doubt, a bowl game is in Orlando. Every time.
Yeah.
Camping World Stadium, Orlando. And that is where the Pop-Tart Bowl is.
That's pretty interesting to me. The Pop-Tart is still out here just being just top tier, that they got a bowl game named after them too. Like that's when you either know a business like doing real good when they get a bowl like the Gasparilla
Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, that one, or the which one is the lawnmower? What is it? The Mad Dog?
Bad
The
Boys
Bad Boy Mower.
Gasparilla.
Man.
Bad Boy Mower Gasparilla Bowl, yeah.
Like if they're not giving away zero turns, then why are we down there?
I would love to see them do a zero turn race at halftime.
Isn't that game played on turf?
I believe so, yeah.
Unbelievable. I send it back.
We gotta send it back.
By the way, every bowl game that's played in Orlando this year is a food-based bowl game. So you have avocados from Mexico, you have the Cheez-It Bowl.
There's an avocado bowl?
Avocados from Mexico, Cure Bowl.
Oh, but it's not in like New Mexico or even like South Texas. They put it in Florida.
Are they
is
curing
in-
hunger with avocados?
It is not at Camping World either. It's at FBC Mortgage Stadium. So
Where the heck is
I
that?
think that's Jacksonville.
that's
No.
it's listed as Orlando.
What in the world?
Also, the Cheez-It Bowl, which Cheez-It.
So that one that is the Pop-Tart Bowl now.
What?
This has both of them listed as their own bowls.
Really?
Yeah. So the January 1st Cheez-It Bowl. Cheez-It Bowl is the Citrus Bowl now.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
So the Cheez-It Bowl really missed out by having an edible Cheez-It mascot.
That's right. So, okay, it is a different game. Like, oh, gosh. Yeah. So the Cheez-It Bowl is what the Citrus Bowl used to be, and the Pop-Tart Bowl is what the Cheez-It Bowl used to be.
Correct.
Got bought out.
40 bowls in 14 days.
That is,
I gotta find where that's saved at.
you need an aerospace engineering degree to understand all of these changes to bowl games. Like Josh Dobbs is the only one who understands all the bowl game changes.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
The PlayStation Bowl, is that one still in too? Like some PlayStation Bowl?
Well, I don't know. I think it was in the queue for a long time, but anytime you try to buy tickets to the PlayStation Bowl, you get kicked out of the quew.
There is no PlayStation
There is
Bowl.
no PlayStation Bowl.
Any more questions, Ramon? Any more bowl games you would like to know?
This is one of the big gifts of giving the New Year's Day 6. Like, who's sponsoring those? Like the college football playoffs.
I don't think any of those have changed.
Okay, so the Rely Quest Bowl is January 1st. That's in Raymond James in Tampa.
That is
that
what
where
the
you get-
Outback Bowl used to be.
Is that where you get your taxes done at?
Yes.
Okay.
They will do your taxes for 3 years, the winner of the bowl game.
What?
Okay.
No, I'm just making that up. The Cheez-It Bowl, the
the wrong
Citrus
sport.
Bowl, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl, which is
I like that
the
one.
Fiesta Bowl, the Rose Bowl, which is brought to you by Prudential. I don't know what that is. Probably another tax or
Insurance.
insurance. Yep,
Yep.
the other side of taxes. The Allstate Sugar Bowl, which is another insurance bowl, and your playoffs.
I like the Verbo Bowl. I'm going to be real with you. Just on the basis that I want to play in that bowl and leave that with credit because they break me off every spring break and fall break, okay? Give me the Verbo Bowl all day long.
FBC Mortgage Stadium is UCF's stadium.
Okay.
That is why that is also in Orlando.
God, dog.
Our crack research team is in the desktop in front of me. Proves that. Other bowl games where you could have edible mascots if you wanted to. The Mayo Bowl
No.
could be edible if you really wanted to.
They gave Shane Beamer a concussion trying to
They
pour
did.
that mayo on him. They need to mix it down. They need to stop being so viscous. You
Can
know what I
they?
mean?
Are they playing in it this year?
What's wrong with you?
South Carolina said, we don't want to go to a bowl. We have bowls at home. That's what we put tortilla chips and popcorn in. Ramon's really proud of himself. The other one is the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, where you could hypothetically have an edible mascot. So the Potato Bowl and the Mayo Bowl have 24 hours to respond.
You wouldn't be down with the Wasabi Fenway Bowl?
I would not.
A Wasabi mascot?
I'm really into it. I'd be into that one.
My favorite videos are where they make the kids try wasabi. They're like, me try. I was like, all right, you little brat, stick your tongue out then if you a bad boy then. See how bad you really are.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hot, Daddy. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no
Thank
way.
you for switching back to a Southern accent.
And not only that and lemons. Like, why do you want this fruit out of my glass? No. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. Next thing you know, their face is all screwed up. Yeah.
Or
totally.
the cocoa powder. As a kid, I was always like, I bet that tastes delicious. Let me just stick my tongue in it. Nope, it's just a powder.
There is somebody took out coffee in one of the receptacles in our kitchen, and there is hot chocolate mix in there.
Ron Slay.
Really?
Probably.
I
don't
love hot
fool
chocolate.
He don't fool with coffee whatsoever. Does not. Hot chocolate him all day long.
crazy,
He goes
man.
to Starbucks and get hot chocolate.
I did have the other day. There are no free shout outs, but I did get a white chocolate peppermint hot chocolate.
Why was it white chocolate?
Does it taste good?
Huh?
Tastes better.
All right, now here we go. Hold on, where's that daggone drop at? Somebody tell him to go to bed. Somebody mess with my board.
White chocolate's great. But it's certainly not as good as the bourbon maple caramel drink at 8th and Rose.
Oh, now you like it dark. Okay.
615-737-1045. The best and worst of the NFL as we start hour 2 coming up. 615-737-1045. Top 7, bottom 3 coming up next.
The future of joint pain relief is here. It is QC Kinetics Advanced Regenerative Medicine. Amazing stuff, guys. It's Kayla Anderson, and maybe you've been told that steroids or surgery are your only options, but that is not the case. Get a second opinion, and you can learn more about how you can harness your own body's healing agents to attack that joint pain. Maybe you're feeling it in your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back, especially during the colder months. You'll feel that. Well, join QC Kinetics and let them do things the right way. No drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. QC Kinetics does not mask the pain. These treatments actually go to the very root of the problem, using concentrated healing properties that are placed directly to that joint. So when it comes down to it, life is all about motion, and QC Kinetics is giving people their lives back. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
What's going on? 7:01, just about 7:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Sloppy game for Monday Night Football last night. 6 turnovers between the two teams as the Bears proved to be the shinier of the two turds as they win their first NFC North game of Matt Eberflus's Chicago tenure, 12-10 over the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs finished with 185 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions. Chicago moves to 4-8 while the Vikings fall to 6-6 and hold on to that last playoff spot in the NFC. Some football moves from around the NFL. Yesterday, the Raiders released cornerback Marcus Peters. He had an interception return for a touchdown in Week 8, but was benched last week. The move saves the team $1.5 million in incentives that Peters was on pace to earn. And the Dolphins are expected to sign pass rusher Jason Pierre-Paul off the Saints practice squad and onto their 53-man roster, a big-name edge addition after the loss of Jalen Phillips last week. The Florida native lands in Miami. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome to your Tuesday morning on RKW. We are brewed by 8th and Roast, the best coffee in Nashville, available at any of their locations on 8th Avenue, Charlotte, the airport, and at the Broadview over here right next to Vanderbilt's campus. You can check them out anywhere at your local Kroger or Whole Foods as well. Grab a retail bag and thank us later. It's the holiday season. It's the season of giving. Give yourself the best coffee in the city. You're going to love it. 615-737-1045 is our number. Streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV. You can also download the 1045 The Zone app. Take The Zone with you wherever you go. And this morning, that includes Ramon Foster, Robert Walsh, myself, Will Bowling, Kayla Anderson with the morning off. Top 7 and bottom 3 ranks the top and the bottom in the NFL every single week. In honor of number 73, the man sitting to my left, You're Not That Guy, coming up in 15 minutes. But first, we rank the worst teams in the NFL to begin. Number 30, Ramon Foster, is whom?
Arizona. Whew. Bad squad, man. With Kyler Murray back, they're 2-10 on the season. Lost a bad one to the Rams this weekend, also with Kyler back, although he had a rushing touchdown and did his little doohickeys that he does. But Arizona's bad. They're bad.
Robert Walsh, number 30.
I really struggled with this because I know the Giants have kind of found something with Tommy DeVito. I no longer think that they are. God, they're so bad though. I know. I want to hit. Did you see that soundbite yesterday where one of the reporters asked him, "What? So is that a high five?" He's like, "No, it's a high." It's one of. He's like, "What's the word for it?"
Just think of the Italian gesture if you're not watching on 1045 The Zone TV, and that's what Tommy DeVito is doing a lot after touchdowns.
He's got his own emoji, man. I wanted to put the Giants here, but I've also got the Cardinals at 30. I think they're a scrappy team. I think they're better than their record indicates, but they just hadn't proven it. They hadn't got the win. You would think with Kyler back, they would be able to show something, but still not against the lowly Rams, who the Rams in a weak NFC are probably going to find their way in that last playoff spot.
I am still going to go with the Giants at 30. Beating the Patriots, not something to really be super proud of, considering they are going to be popping up on our list here in a matter of seconds, I would imagine. But it is crazy that Tommy DeVito has more passing touchdowns than Zach Wilson and Kenny Pickett this season.
Yeah, crazy.
Tommy DeVito and the Giants, that's still number 30 for me.
And he's actually been able to get Jalen Hyatt some run, man, something that Daniel Jones could not do.
That's right. Number 31, Ramon Foster.
I'm talking about, I love weekly that we do this segment because I'm specifically am very excited to say this team in the bottom 3. New England Patriots. I love to know what the bandwagon looks like. I just love to. What's his name? Mac Jones got benched again for Bailey Zappi, and Bailey Zappi lost the game himself also. The Patriots, you lost to the Giants. I mean, what are we doing? And then y'all are starting rumors up north about trading for coaches and stuff. Like, no, be in this pit of misery. Y'all suck right now. Show me a Patriots, Bama, Kentucky basketball, a Yankees fan. Where they at? Where they at now, Will?
Oh, we've got a couple of them in the F&M Bank chat.
Where they at now? Patriots.
Their Patriots are 31.
31.
What Patriot loss made you like this? I also have the Patriots.
Jesse James.
Mm.
That was our best shit. That one in the AFC Championship game, too.
What year was that?
I think it was 16-16.
Okay.
And then the Jesse James fumble, no fumble call. 15-16 is when we played them in the AFC, and they pulled fire alarms. They had a kitchen fire, air quotation marks. That's just them, so I'm glad to see them be low.
I would imagine, Robert, you're going Patriots 31 as well?
Yes, 30. Or 31, yes.
Yeah, me too. And then Panthers 32.
Correct.
Yes.
We are all in agreement.
Very easy.
We are.
Number 7.
Pittsburgh.
What? Okay.
It's your list.
Why?
Pittsburgh.
Because they don't have Matt Canada anymore?
That 400 yards. They're in the playoff hunt right. Second right now in the AFC North.
Yeah.
I'm
fair.
justifying every team that's in there right now.
You are.
Pittsburgh's 7. Beats Cincinnati again. Pretty much put them out of the playoff conversation. Second in the North, they are holding the wild card spot right now. First wild card spot, Pittsburgh. Even though I don't know how it's getting done.
Robert Walsh, number 7.
At 7 for me. I am not a fan of this team, but I can't take them out of the top 7 right now. The Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are frauds. The last 3 weeks, they have not played up to the standard that I think that they have played the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season. I've got Miami at 7.
I'll go Detroit 7. Bad loss for them. Nearly dropped them totally out. Jacksonville was my 8 for what it's worth. It was between Detroit and Jacksonville for the last spot, but losing at home to the Packers, not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Number 6.
Dallas. Strong team. They could be higher, but they're second in the division right now, too. Again, I told you, I got a reason for everything on this one. Dallas is second in the NFC East.
How about Dak Prescott with the highest Pro Football Focus grade in one game by any quarterback since 2007 for his Thursday performance against the Commanders? Dak Prescott is going from quietly having an amazing season to just having a straight-up fantastic season. I mean, he should be more of an MVP candidate than Jalen Hurts, who is the odds-on favorite to win MVP right now and is not having that great of a year.
I need their last 3 weeks. They've looked really good, but the last 3 weeks they've also played the Giants, Panthers, and Commanders, who are all candidates to be in the bottom 3. I need to see them against a good team.
I agree,
and they have good teams coming up. I'm not disparaging the Cowboys, but just I can't crown them as the third best team in the NFC yet.
That's fair.
Number 6, Robert.
Number 6 is the Lions. Bad loss for me, but it's one you're going to rebound against. Those NFC North games, it's cold as hell. Don't nobody want to hit nobody. It looked like that was the Jordan Love that the Packers had been waiting on. And if you get one game a year like that from him, I think the Lions will take that. They're still holding on to that NFC North playoff spot. I got the Lions at 6.
I'll go Dolphins at number 6 for me. Dolphins still second in the league in scoring, 30.8 points per game.
That 70-point outing against Denver is really propping them up.
Yes, it is. That's true. Number 5.
Jacksonville by doink. By hitting the crossbar.
You
Solid
see,
squad.
that kicker, Matt Amendola, got released yesterday, too.
I did.
It's kind of harsh. From 58 to doink it. That's not a bad effort.
He's had injury issues throughout the season, too, where certain players who aren't kickers had to kick field goals. I think they're just looking for somebody who's a little more consistent.
Number 5, Robert.
That is Dallas for me, and that's Dallas.
Wow.
I think they're a good team. I just need to see a better team, but I can't drop them out right now because they're winning pretty consistently where they should.
Dak Prescott with a 115 passer rating 4 times in the last 5 games. I'll take Dallas 5 as well. Mm-hmm. Number 4.
Baltimore. Continue to have ways to win. And y'all are the NFL's tight end U. Isaiah Likely shows up again, man. Y'all just do it. And that defense on command will have a turnover.
Number 4 for me, while Bert answers the phone for a minute, let me get Kansas City in there. Rashee Rice, a bright spot. 8 catches, 107. That offense still has not clicked into high gear as much as I want it to rank them higher than number 4.
Okay. I've also got the Chiefs at 4. I need to see a little something. I think they still have the possibility of being the AFC's best team.
Yep.
But I need to see it.
Number 3.
Kansas City.
Okay.
Their story, still figuring out the offense, and Patrick Mahomes is a wizard. Defense is solid as heck.
Robert, number 3?
At 3, I've got the Ravens. I think they've got a lot of things to figure out. They got a late bye. They only play one game in 23 days, something like that. They just played it against the Chargers, so plenty of time to get right, plenty of time to figure out the pass protection issues and get Morgan Moses and Ronnie Stanley back up to speed, figure out who's going to get the snaps from Mark Andrews. A lot to figure out, but I think they're up to the challenge with their depth. I've got the Ravens at 3.
I'm also going Ravens 3, which means I think Bird and I have the exact same top 7 other than one pick.
Oh, wow.
Almost 2 weeks,
second straight
3
week.
weeks in a row.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'll go Ravens. Most balanced team in the AFC. Second in scoring defense. They lead the league in rushing. 7th in yards overall on offense. Team just doesn't really have a weakness. At this point.
Yeah.
Number 2.
2, San Fran. Back doing what they do.
Top 2 is pretty easy.
When they're together, and I know that's the most obvious thing, but when they're tight, boy, they're a good team to watch and just beat you up.
I've also got the 49ers here. Attrition is starting to hit the top teams, though. As you saw with the Eagles losing Lane Johnson, you saw Hufanga go out for the year for the 49ers. Attrition is starting to hit, but not at premium positions. If it starts to go to premium positions like pass rusher and offensive line, I could see some changes. But right now, it's San Francisco at 2.
I was so ready to throw San Fran back up to 1 if Philly had lost to Buffalo over the weekend. Because San Fran with Chase Young and a healthy Deebo Samuel and a healthy Christian McCaffrey. If San Francisco stays healthy, I think they are the Super Bowl winners. But that is an if that they have not been able to check under current leadership quite often. Yeah. I will take San Francisco 2, and I think we all have Philly 1.
Philly 1, and also Josh Allen. We're going to have a conversation about what a franchise guy is at some point. I love what his Superman antics are, but he's nowhere near a closer at this point.
Yeah, at what point do you become a detriment to your team's success?
Yeah.
By being too much of a franchise quarterback.
He's at risk of losing his namesake to the pass rusher. We will refer to Josh Allen as the pass rusher and not the quarterback.
Instead of saying, oh, yeah, defensive Josh Allen, we'll say, no, offensive Josh Allen. It's kind of like how Tennessee fans, when Jarrett Garantano was good, you say his name correctly. But when he's bad, no, it's back to Garantano if you're not playing well.
Garantino. I guarantee we're probably going to lose this game if he plays.
615-737-1045, our number. Coming up, it is You're Not That Guy, a chance to complain about the crazy aunt or uncle at your Thanksgiving dinner or anything that happened over the last week. We've had additional time to sit, to stew, maybe in airport traffic with holidays beginning. You got a little bit more to complain about. Yeah, it's a season of joy, but not for the next 20 minutes on RKW.
When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We are afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed right away, or it could be a small problem now that'll become bigger later, or maybe nothing at all. The bottom line is we don't know, and we certainly don't want to be sold something we don't need. What we need is a peace of mind, and United Structural Systems is a company to give you that. They have over 25,000 100% satisfied residential customers, and here's how they make that happen. First and foremost, when USS comes out to your house, you're going to get a problem solver who provides a peace of mind to their customers. That's you, the homeowner. You're not going to get someone who is worried about meeting a sales quota, upselling the next big thing, but someone there to educate you and help you understand what is happening with your home. At USS, the only measure of success is how satisfied the homeowner is and not a closing ratio. Homeowners trust USS, keeping homes dry and stable for over 25 years. USS, serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. You can reach them online at USSTN.com or call them 615-488-7855.
We're always having a good time at RKW, brewed by 8th and Rose, 615-737-1045, as we have a good time criticizing, well, anyone. Here for your Not That Guy. That is the number to call with Ramon Foster and Robert Walsh. Kayla Anderson with the morning off. I'm Will Bowling. Lots to complain about, it feels like, on holiday weekends. Whether you're traveling, whether you got asked why you're still single, whether your cousin who has been trying to start a small business out of his garage is still looking for investment opportunities at Thanksgiving dinner.
I got to give a preliminary "You're Not That Guy" to my aunt.
Oh,
Dude, I love Aunt Donna. Every time she calls, I send her straight to voicemail because if I stay on with her, she's gonna talk to me for an hour about every who's it and what's it that's going on in the family. But I'm scooping my Thanksgiving food. I'm doing my plate. Everybody's doing a plate. And if you saw Walsh, we're all shaped like upside down peas. We all got a really nice, solid belly to us. We all eat well. So I'm filling my plate up, and she's got the nerve to look at me and go, "Robbie, honey, I think you've gained weight." Well, your lip's about to gain some weight, Aunt Donna. Don't bring that over here. All this food's mid anyway, lady.
Thanksgiving is not the day to say that somebody has gained weight.
As I'm shoving my face full of her mashed potatoes and pea salad. Don't play with me like that.
Eating day?
I'm telling you.
She blasted you for eating?
Well, she's got hair on her upper lip, so who's a
in
real
this
loser?
economy?
Love
That's
Aunt Donna. Her
hilarious.
upper lip's just not going to get cold because it comes with a fur coat.
She
You know what I
need
mean?
to-
So funny.
She need to get that thing waxed like Miss Pearly.
I'm telling you. Come give me a kiss, honey, and it prickles you like a cactus. Stop that. Don't come at me, Donna.
Yeah, Donna was just minding her business. Wow.
This morning, she's like, "Oh,
My sweet nephew.
they ain't no sweet no more." She was
Goodness
like, "How
sakes.
was the food, honey? I have had better. Appreciate it. I ain't gonna be back next year. I'll tell you
All right,
that."
well,
The pea, I'm be honest with you, Bert. The pea salad would have threw me off, man. I'm good on the pea salad.
You don't like
man.
pea salad?
Never even seen it on the table.
Oh man.
pea salad.
Oh, it's I think it's a Texas thing, but it's peas, eggs, mayonnaise, red onions.
Oh, no.
Oh, I love it, dude.
I'm good.
It's a cold
good.
salad. Yeah, I could eat a gallon of it. There's one thing Donna can do right is make pea salad.
Is it thick?
Oh yeah, it's kind of viscous. You could it's kind of like a chunkier salad. It's cold. It's got little pieces of like cheese in it, grated cheese.
Okay. Never even seen it, man.
I have not either.
I'm gonna have to make y'all
Yeah.
some pea salad in addition to the deer jerky. We're gonna have terrible gas.
Amazing.
We
Sounds good.
have terrible guys around here.
Well, on that note, if you've got the equivalent of an Aunt Donna in your life over the weekend you want to complain about, it's time for You're Not That Guy. (615-737-1045), the number if you want to complain about anyone or anything in your life. And I'm going to start with a thing that got called out yesterday on the internet. My You're Not That Guy is Sports Illustrated, who says it has deleted several articles from its website after a report found that Sports Illustrated had published pieces under fake author names and profile images generated by artificial intelligence. So what had happened was a report from Futurism says that SI had repeatedly published articles whose authors could not be found online outside of Sports Illustrated. For example, Drew Ortiz, whose picture was taken from a website who sells AI headshots. These were AI written articles under the guise of a fake name written by a magazine and an outlet that used to have credibility. Well, no longer. Sports Illustrated, following in the ways of Gannett, who also posted AI stories, had to change the way that they were doing business in that context. Look, there are enough writers out there. Pay your writers to do their job instead of trying to use AI to make up stories and then buy fake headshots of people that aren't actually real people. You are denigrating the idea and you are denigrating the business of journalism every time these companies try to save a buck and business people make journalism-related decisions. there are too many talented writers who bust their butts for these companies for them to then return the favor by fabricating stories and doing it with artificial intelligence. Sports Illustrated, for the love of God, you are not that guy.
Ooh. Way to go, Will. That was beautiful.
That's solid right there,
Will
dog.
standing on business this morning.
It's a disservice to people who actually do the job the way it is supposed to be done for those outlets, for them to then repay them by stabbing them in the back with Drew Ortiz, who is not a real human being.
If we use standing on business one more time around here, I think I might lose it myself.
I'm bumping back with it.
I love it. I'm going to be real with you, but it's definitely cliche. And standing on business, what Will did right there. I got one, man, and I honestly have been between two, okay? But I got to do this one because they're loud and obnoxious, and they've been living high off the hog for a very long time, and they don't realize hard times, okay? Bert, they don't understand hard times, Will, okay? A one-loss squad is about to lose their minds on social media, okay, in the real world, okay, just because they lost a little game to Michigan. Ohio State fans, y'all got to learn how to cope a little bit better. Firing a coach that's 11-1, and I know you lost to your rival, and Michigan's had to build up to this moment to where they can actually compete to you. I don't care about the sign stealing right now. I care about the game that you two have, because by the time that everybody found out about Michigan, you could have adjusted to it, and you didn't. You got former players fire this coach, acting this coach. Y'all just call him, okay? Talk to somebody that can actually get the job done. I logged on after the game, and Maurice Claret was one of the first guys that showed up on there saying, I like you, Ryan Day, but it's time for you to go. No, that ain't SEC country. We're the only conference that can fire and hire people on social media, okay? Big Ten, take a back seat, man, and specifically Ohio State. Y'all been good. Ron Day is a daggone good coach, man. Let that man cook. Maybe it's recruiting. Maybe y'all just getting beat up by Michigan. How about stop Blake Corum? How about make some plays down the field? So, shout out to the 3 times in a three-year streak that Michigan has on Ohio State right now. Y'all can look cool, claim LeBron James, even though he didn't even go there, but y'all are not that guy following this weekend's matchup.
Everybody's got strong submissions
Solid.
today.
Don't they have the most celebrity alumni that's never gone there,
Well,
though?
and the thing I was almost going to make, You're Not That Guy, are Ohio State former players who now want to take to Twitter to drag Ryan Day through the mud. If you're a former player, you could just text the AD. Like, genuinely, you can just call them and tell them privately without having to make a show that you're outraged because you lost to Michigan.
One loss.
Yeah.
That's one of the downsides of social media. Everybody has to outwardly show how upset they are about something rather than doing anything about it. Everybody just wants to complain. Like, look, I was on this side. Shut up. Shut up. My You're Not That Guy is I got to go to certain halftime shows because, and I've got an alternative. There was one halftime show this weekend that I thought was the premier experience, and there were other halftime shows that I thought fell short of expectations. This weekend we got Dolly Parton. Mm-hmm. We got what's the new cool white guy? Jack Harlow. We got Jack Harlow.
And Steve Aoki in Seattle.
Steve Aoki in Atlanta. We got Ludacris rapping from the ceiling. We got a bunch of Atlanta rappers, which I thought they should have done in the Super Bowl there, but that's neither here nor there. When it comes to halftime shows, I do not need a 3-minute concert. Do not give me the guys that we're going to get a extreme experience when really they're just going to sing the chorus of all their best songs. I don't need that. What I do need is what happened at halftime of the Cleveland Browns and Broncos game, where they had children riding sheep. It was a time trial. How quick could these children ride the sheep to the opposite end zone? I need more children in danger. I need kids playing paintball. I need kids fencing. I need kids playing mascots and mascots blowing little kids up. Kids are great entertainment. They're cheap. You don't have to pay them much, and it's really funny when they cry. Give me the kids at halftime. No more Red Panda, just children spinning plates, because how funny would that be? I don't want to watch somebody good at spinning plates. You watch that to watch her crash. You watch that to watch her drop all the plates and hear that stone cold glass break noise. I need kids doing things like that. So halftime shows that are giving us small concerts and making it seem like it's a big deal, you are not that guy.
That's big time.
Put kids in danger, man.
That's big time right there, Bird.
We need more dachshund races like what happened at the Titans game earlier this year.
Yes.
They do B-list artists. Dolly Parton, by the way, not a B-list artist.
Was not, but I was scared for Dolly.
Are you scared for Dolly?
You scared that Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit wasn't going to be able to hold it back?
I was that, and she kept holding onto the wall. Dolly, I was like, all right, maybe it's a little bit more sketchy up there than I thought, man. I was really hoping she made it through.
I'm just glad she could hear herself in that halftime show, unlike her spot after Tennessee, Georgia.
I don't know what she said at the halftime at Tennessee, but it seemed like, I hope it was good. I couldn't hear a damn thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It seemed like what
That
she was
pretty much
about.
it. Heck, we couldn't even hear her say that she couldn't hear anything.
And she was that big of a get that the whole crowd was overpowering her.
We were cheering anyway.
That's what happens to me when I go back home.
She can do no wrong. 615-737-1045. Jordan in Nashville leads us off on the phone lines for You're Not That Guy. What's up, Jordan?
Hey, guys. My You're Not That Guy is a construction crew who thought it'd be a good idea to do very loud hammering on Thanksgiving morning at 7:30 as they were building a house next to my parents. Hey, people are trying to sleep in here, okay? So please do it for another day and time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's cold-blooded.
I didn't know those projects went on Thanksgiving.
Me either.
Goodness.
What a time.
Yeah, it's not great.
That happened in my buddy's wedding recently, where they were like walking down the aisle, and it's he's out there and he's about to do his what's it called? You exchange your vows, and all of a sudden you just hear like, like, oh wow, somebody's really getting into it. It's like, do you, Andy, take Carolyn to be your play the dang music? YouTube, come on now, there we go. Do you, Andy, take Carolyn to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. You can't deal with that the whole time.
You say that. I had a cell phone go off in my wedding.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Did you have to have a talk with them afterwards? Man,
I don't even know if they were actually invited either. That's what's so cold.
It's crazy that you and Slay are still friends after that all these years later, too.
What savage.
I know.
It was on the wife side of the family, too. I was like, what my people this time? We know how to act.
Couldn't be my family. Oh, my gosh.
One of the few dubs the Fosters got, though. I'm telling you. We ain't got
I
many
remember
dubs in this.
in 2009 for the Alabama Mount Cody win over Tennessee. That was, for goodness sakes. If you're driving through Nashville, it's probably what you hear anyway. We just multiplied the amount of construction sounds that most people in this city are hearing as they go to their work. Goodness sakes. I remember in 2009 for Tennessee Bama, that was still when you would text Google to get score updates if you still had a flip phone.
Yeah.
And I think my brother at that point had a Motorola Razor and was texting Google like Tennessee Alabama score just to get updates. And then Tennessee was winning in all those updates. And then obviously I don't know how that game ended. I never saw the end of it. 615-737-1045.
Made it a point to hit Mount Cody extra hard when we played against them in Baltimore.
Well, you got a lot to hit there.
It was. He wasn't out there much.
He's also not good.
Did he keep his?
Just saying, he wasn't out there much.
He kept his helmet on after most of his plays in his NFL career, unlike after that play in the Tennessee Alabama game. It's okay. I'm not bitter.
Just a little bit.
It's tough. Nick in Hartsville next for You're Not That Guy. What's up, Nick?
What's up, Nick?
What's going on, guys?
All right.
So, during football season, my family's household is very divided. I got a father that's a Rams fan, a mother that's a Titans and Eagles fan. I love the Niners, and my brother's a Cowboy fan. Well, we're at my grandmama's with Thanksgiving dinner watching the Lions, and my brother turns and looks at us and goes, well, Matthew Stafford's doing good for Lions this year, isn't he? My dad turned and looked at him. I looked at him. And I out loud said, Derek, kitty table, you are not that guy.
Thank you, Nick. Solid.
You're not a real football watcher, huh?
Very solid.
Matthew Stafford? It's been, 3 years?
Yeah, it's been a little. He's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
At his new stop.
Kitty table, only for him. Absolutely. I cannot believe that. That's bad.
We go next to Vandy Chris in Columbia for You're Not That Guy. What's up, Chris?
Man, I'm telling you, when both of your starting quarterbacks have entered the transfer portal with eligibility remaining of 2 years or more, Parkley, you are not that guy.
Mm.
Candace Lee, do your job, please. Please.
Thank you, Chris.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Yeah, A.J. Swan and Ken Seals both in the portal.
Since when?
Yesterday.
Whoa!
You missed that yesterday?
I missed that.
Yeah, both Vanderbilt quarterbacks in the portal.
So they pushed whatever happened with Mike Wright situation. He's not there.
I was just about to say they should call the backup at Mississippi State who did a good job filling in for Will Rogers this season. Oh, wait. And they ran him off.
How you get – oh, man. Oh, man. That's cold.
Yeah, there's going to be a roster reset.
They just had
at
one.
Vanderbilt. I know. That is the difficult part. If you are in the bottom of the Power Five and the equivalent of Ray Davis is transferring year in and year out within the conference to a contender, it is easier to win at this point at the top of G5 or I guess G6 if you throw in the Pac-12 or Mountain West or whatever it's called at this point now. If you throw that in the mix, it is harder to be a coach and keep your talent at the bottom of the Power 5 or Power 4 than it is to just be at a place like Liberty, where you can get everyone else. You can get Georgia's backups that we're never going to play there, or Tennessee's backups or third strings that weren't going to play there, and places like that. It makes Clark Lee's job very difficult. I still think Clark Lee is deserving of more time there, and I really do mean that because you can't tear down a guy's stadium and then expect him to recruit at the level and expect him to meet the expectations you want Candace Story Lee as someone rebuilding that program. Give him a chance to recruit to a brand new, refurbished, and renovated facility and stadium and see this whole thing through.
It's hard to reset culture when you still losing bodies like that, Will. Like, you're 100% correct. Like, he's up against the wall and trying to change this thing around. And you can't lower the acceptance rate of it. You can't lower the GPA for guys to get in for the dudes you want. But you look at it, you say Stanford's doing well. Duke.
Well, Stanford's not doing well.
I mean, but of course,
Stanford
being able
wasn't
to get bodies in.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At least getting the bodies in to compete. Wake Forest is doing well. Like, what's the difference?
The new college football has made things even tougher on Vanderbilt because they are less likely to get a grad transfer in or a transfer in from across college football. Because, again, it's the same thing as recruiting a high schooler. They got to meet the certain standards of academics at Vanderbilt. Clark Lee has more than just a 2 or 3, 4 year rebuild on his hands. And as things get harder for him in college football, he deserves more time to make it right. I really do believe that.
I'm with you on that one. I'll ride with you on that one, Will. But it's just confusing how one side of it is different. And I had to look at it. I'm glad. Georgia Tech is also a very high education institution. They made a bowl game this year.
Yeah. Well, in the ACC.
But still.
I know. The ACC has a lot of teams like that. Yeah. 615-737-1045, the number. We'll get to more of your phone calls coming up next. We'll also take a look at the Texas A&M hire. Is Mike Elko better than Mark Stoops for the Aggies? I don't think so. What do you think? We'll discuss it coming up next. RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone and streaming live on the 104.5 The Zone app. Download that and take us wherever you go. 615-737-1045 is our number. Ramon Foster, Tennessee walked so Texas A&M could run. You've heard of Shiano Sunday. We had Stoops Saturday, where Mark Stoops was reportedly going to be the head coach at Texas A&M, but donors and the board did not get their approval. And so Mike Elko said, never mind. Mark Stoops will spin this as I decided to stay at Kentucky, even though he's not getting any more money or any more incentives to stay. And now Mike Elko, the former Texas A&M defensive coordinator and Duke head football coach, will be the Aggies head coach. Which would have been a better hire, Ramon Foster, Mike Elko or Mark Stoops?
I think Stoops, honestly.
Yep.
For me, Stoops. He knows what he's up against in Lexington. Just let's be honest about that. But his passion and how he coaches and how he's turned that team into a competitor, like this dude's got a statue there. Like he can eventually be everything he wants to be at Kentucky because he's been that good for them. And that's what that's what A&M needs, honestly. Just being real, which they have, to me, a lot of talent but no structure. That's what Stoops has done to Kentucky. He has raised that level. Like they got ownership of Florida. Imagine that, Will.
Crazy.
Golly, yeah, I'm going with Stoops on that one. I'm actually shocked that they pushed back on that one. And it's only because he's coming from Kentucky. That, to me, is the biggest issue.
Well, and the thing, too, is you're paying a $77 million buyout to Jimbo Fisher, and then you're hiring his former defensive coordinator. 2022 ACC Coach of the Year, Mike Elko, after 1 year at Duke, takes them to 9-4. Was Jimbo Fisher's defensive coordinator in their best season under Jimbo at A&M in 2020. He knows how to recruit the area, but so does Mark Stoops. And this is the thing with him at Kentucky and at Oklahoma. He's got experience recruiting in that area of the country. I just think people have forgotten how miserable Kentucky football has been forever before Mark Stoops got there. The average college football fan is grossly underestimating how difficult it is to win 10 games at Kentucky. And Texas A&M has a lot of money. They've got a lot of power. It is one of the best jobs, not only in the SEC, but in all of college football, in what they can pay. But I just do not understand playing your revolt, take over, and make the athletic director a lame duck card on not getting Mark Stoops. It would have been a weird fit, a little bit of an interesting one. And I said it on the show a couple weeks ago. A&M will do the weirdest thing possible, probably, and go out of left field and get the guy that we are not expecting. No disrespect to Mike Elko. I think he could be successful there. But Mark Stoops, I think, would have been a great hire for them to make. It is a higher floor hire. But again, what did Andy Staples say to us a few weeks ago? When you convince every Power 5 college football fan base that it is national championship or bust, you get hires like this where you revolt for a guy who has turned a doormat in the SEC into a perennial good top 25 team.
Yeah. It's like when he said it, like if you're not first, you're last. Like I absolutely hate it too. Like you can't even enjoy the football season no more. And that's the thing about what A&M has going on too. They got a lot of internal stuff that has to be fixed. And I know they got the prospects, but heck, so did Jimbo. Jimbo had everything you needed and still couldn't win there. So, of course, to me, to reset that program, it would have been a better hire for Stoops because he understands what it means to reset it. Duke issue to me was learning how to play ball, I feel like. That's a little bit different. You caught people by surprise in the ACC. Really good season. Really big wins they had this year. It will be fascinating. And, of course, the video and visuals of his introduction meeting with the swinging, like they were singing Sweet Caroline. If I ever take a job like that, where I got to stand up and sway side to side and sing your song, I'd much rather not.
Less is the Tennessee Waltz.
But I have an allegiance there.
Well, of course. That's what I mean. Right.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That was the weirdest thing ever.
Have you heard the words of the Aggie War Hymn before?
Do I want to hear the words of it?
Yeah, I think you do.
Okay. Let's hear it.
It just talks about sawing off the Texas Longhorns' horns. That's all that it is.
Is that what it's about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they Never mind. I don't even want to go any further. I'm good. We're good. That's all I need to know.
Genuinely,
All right.
it is a very interesting place.
And there's no diss to A&M. They got a good program and system and culture, but that's different.
Yeah. Saw varsity's horns off. Varsity's horns are sawed off. Yeah. They just chant that over and over.
All right then.
I love A&M because I love weird, unique fan bases, but they are weird.
They are a little different.
They are as weird as it gets. So
They're different.
your problem now, Mike Elko. 615-737-1045. Coming up in hour 3, Austin Price of allquest.com joins the show at 8:20. And our thoughts on Tennessee Vandy on the other side, where that was the Joe Milton we were waiting for a lot of the season. Our thoughts on Tennessee and Vandy at halftime of the show coming up next.
The temperatures are dropping rapidly, okay? Energy costs are on the rise. So if you have old, drafty windows, your furnace is working harder than ever to keep your family warm. And Window Nation wants to help you this month, okay? With 0% financing for 5 years plus 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. Now is the time to protect your family from the elements and lower your energy costs and upgrade the look and your feel. And right now, they're giving you an additional 10% off until the end of this month. So you can make those purchases, man. Save on your energy bill. Keep your house warm and cozy and toasty so you don't have people mad at you in your house. If you haven't got new windows to secure the flow of air in and out of your house, something's wrong with you, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there right now. It's time to go ahead and do the basic things. Whether you have an older house or a newer house or you building a house, if you have windows in mind, reach out to the folks that I trust at Window Nation. You can reach out to them at 866-90Nation or go online to windownation.com.
8 o'clock on the dot. What's going on from the 104.5 The Zone Studios? I'm Robert Walsh. A sloppy Monday Night Football game last night saw 6 turnovers for both teams. As the Bears proved to be the shinier of two turds, they win their first NFC North game of the Matt Eberflus Chicago tenure. 12-10 against the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs finished with 185 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions. Chicago moves to 4-8 on the year, while the Vikings fall to 6-6 and barely hang on to that last playoff spot in the NFC. Some football moves from around the league yesterday. The Raiders released cornerback Marcus Peters. He's headed to waivers. He had an interception return for a touchdown in Week 8, but was benched last week. The move saves the Raiders $1.5 million in incentives that Marcus Peters was on pace to earn. And the Dolphins are expected to sign pass rusher Jason Pierre-Paul off the Saints practice squad and onto their 53-man roster. A big-name edge addition after the loss of Jalen Phillips. The Florida native lands in Miami. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show starts right now, beginning your frigid Tuesday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. We welcome you into a hot and fresh new hour of RKW, brewed up by our good friends at 8th and Roast. Go by and see them this morning. Get yourself a bacon and egg croissant, a coffee, a little drip coffee, just a splash of cream. You'll thank us later, I promise you. It'll sustain you throughout your day. You'll be caffeinated and opinionated just like us. With Bowen Foster and Robert Walsh, I'm Will Bowling. Kayla Anderson with the boarding off as we fly by 2 more hours to begin your Tuesday morning.
Right back to it, Will. Great halftime report right there, man.
Thank you so much.
Made my oatmeal and everything, man. I'm ready to go. I'm locked and loaded, man. I didn't get another cup of coffee, though.
And I hope nobody's upset about this, but we had so much 8th and Roast in there. I took some. My dad's a coffee aficionado. So I brought some back to my dad, and I was prompted to bring him back multiple bags when I come back for Christmas.
Sure.
My dad was a massive fan. Drinks all his coffee black. He was a big fan of the Concepcion Buena Vista.
Oh.
He could not say that as elegantly as I did.
I mean, you're well
Give me some of that
cultured.
Concepcion Buena Vista. I don't know why I turned into
Buena
Inglorious
Vista.
Bastard.
Okay. All right.
I bet he know how to dress a deer, though, don't he?
I almost sent y'all a video of that, but I thought it would be a little too gruesome for the chat.
You could have put it in invisible ink. That way, if you worked for it to watch it, then I'd have been okay with
Work
it.
for
right.
it.
Yeah, I'd have been okay with it.
Need to put an explicit video warning over the top of it.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'd have watched it. I'll be honest with you. I watched a lot of animal nature videos, so I'm into that.
Have you ever been hunting before? I think you dig it. You would like it.
Have not.
See, you live out there in Humber. I'm sure you know. I couldn't even say Humble. I'm sure you know somebody out there with some land with a stand you could sit in.
I could, and I've been offered before. Do you know the first thing on my bucket list to go hunting with Bert?
A goose?
You gonna laugh? Well, if it gets in the way, I'm telling you, it's on him at that point. You got wings, fly away. But that's neither here nor there. I want to go hog hunting.
Okay. My
Call up Traylon Burks?
dad is going hog hunting in 2 weeks on an island in Georgia called Ossabaw Island, where the hogs run wild, man.
Yeah, like I don't even want to do it from the helicopter. Like I'm into just
From the helicopter.
They do that. They have like little net guns. You kind of hang off the side.
Yeah, in Texas they get wild.
Oh, I'm familiar.
Yeah, I wonder how much that one costs, though. It's just,
Let me do some IT. Let me see what I can do for you.
That's the thing about like those hunting adventures and stuff. Like if they see me, it's like, oh yeah, here he goes, y'all. We got one. They're gonna be texting all their friends like,
we got one.
We got one.
They think you're the hog?
No, they're thinking, oh, we're gonna hit his pockets to take him on his hunting. I need to hit up Duck, Devlin Hodges. He does those types of things.
That's right.
Man.
Laney Wilson's boyfriend.
Any guesses on how much a helicopter hog hunt would cost?
For the day?
It's lodging for 2 nights, so 2 days of hunts.
I'm going to go like $550 a day.
Well, okay, so what are we saying? A 2-day?
Okay, here's everything you get with the helicopter hog hunt. You get a
details.
helicopter hunting safety course. You get a helicopter hog hunt, which is 2 hours worth of flight time for 2 days. An aerial machine gun upgrade, which shoots full auto from the helicopter. Video service to record your helicopter hog hunt. Night vision, both infrared and thermal. Sporting clay shotgun range, which is a friendly competition between friends. Lodging for 2 nights, and all of your meals, dinner, lunch, and breakfast are covered for 2 mornings and evenings.
Oh, man.
$2,000.
No. Oh, that one? I'm going $9,500.
It is $5,495 per person.
I barely got you.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
I'm going to be real with
Price
you.
is Right rules, I win.
They so the gun you use, you are sporting a semi-automatic AR-15 with a holographic red dot sight and unlimited ammunition.
No
for
one
this
ever
price.
needs
Unlimited ammo?
This is ridiculous.
Unlimited ammo.
Unlimited ammo in this economy?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's why the price is so high.
Kyle
me know.
in the FNM Bank chat says, who wins in a 40-yard dash, Ramon or the hog?
The hog, easy.
Oh, they move.
Kyle never been around the hog. That's the reason he even brought that. That to me, Kyle, that's a stupid question.
Only
okay?
hog he's been around is bacon.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, I ain't calling you stupid. I'm just saying, if you've ever been around a hog, Bert, how fast are pigs?
They move. And I'm telling you, most people just think about like Babe, like the pink pigs. These are not. These are their restless cousins that don't stop moving.
Yeah, and will like eat the roots of grass. Like that's the reason you do it.
They
like,
will eat anything.
They eat anything, but they destroy. That's why it's okay to go hog hunting in a helicopter. Keish, you asked me what I want for my birthday. It's January 7th. I know you're listening.
Send Ramon on a helicopter hog hunt.
Oh, my goodness.
We can get a discount. It's got to be a birthday discount, Bert.
That's what I'm saying. Or just sponsor the show. How do we got sent to London? How do we not get sent to a helicopter hog hunt? We got to get Kayla back in here to work on this.
Like, seriously. Seriously, dog. Bruce in the FNM Bank chat says 3,000 in South Texas. Now, you mentioned South Texas. What are we doing there? Like, let's look close right there. I'm not sure about that.
If Drake was involved, it would be for all the hogs.
For all the I wonder if his exes still live in Texas, though.
That's why he hangs his hat in Tennessee. You know who else hangs his hat in Tennessee? Joe Milton for a few more weeks. He was pretty good over the weekend. Pro Football Focus giving Joe a 91.1 grade and 6 touchdowns in Tennessee's win over Vanderbilt. It seemed, Ramon, like everything that we asked of more from Tennessee all season, they did all of them on Saturday. They threw the ball accurately over the middle, and they got the tight ends more involved, and they were better in the red zone. This was certainly not one that was as close as the score even said, 48-24 for Tennessee over Vandy. And Austin Price will give us his takeaways coming up in just about 10 minutes. What jumped out to you the most from this win for Tennessee?
You mentioned that about Joe. I immediately folded my arms and shook my head. That's what we were looking for. That's what we were asking. I love, and I saw it even show up on my algorithm yesterday on my backup Twitter page, man, that I had to restart. Joe Milton had one of the most epic throws ever, and I'm thinking to myself, see, that was a problem right there. He pulled us all into the idea that the arm was what was the main show, and in reality, it was the legs. It was being capable of being both. That's what we needed. It was a beautiful showing. I loved it. I don't want to just lay it on the fact that, hey, it was just Vandy. I'm thinking to myself, if the floor of the offense looked like that the entire season, you had a little bit more. Hats off to Joe, man. You accomplished a lot. You became an item for Tennessee fans and forever remembered, I'd also think, too. But the ability to do what you did in your last collegiate game inside of Neyland, I wish we'd have seen that from week 1 all the way out. I do.
Tennessee's tight ends combined for 7 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. There was another one to Jacob Warren that was dropped on a pass from Nico Iamaleava in the fourth quarter, who would have had even more yardage. But those 2, 8 combined touchdown catches this season. And in 12 games, the duo of Jacob Warren and McAllen Castles had 26 catches for 447. 6 catches, 2 touchdowns in the win over Vanderbilt. Also in this one, Ramon, the 5th time Tennessee held an opponent to under 80 yards rushing. How much of this was just Vandy being bad or Tennessee playing a good final game.
Vandy was bad, and truthfully, it may have led to some of their emotions. Just being real with you throughout the game, like that's a bad squad, and I think internally they had some bad stuff going on too. The running game, like they did nothing good the entire season as far as Vandy concerned. I'm going to lay my hat on the fact that it was somewhat them, but good on the defense, though, too, because in other games, some of the stuff that we were doing would have hurt us. Like defensively, the pushing, the offsides, the continuation of drives they allowed through penalties at times and stuff like that. A bad team like Vanderbilt, you can win those types of games.
Some final numbers that were interesting out of this one. 8 career touchdowns for Jacob Warren. School record for a tight end is 9, actually. So Jacob Warren just barely missing out on Tennessee's school record for career receiving touchdowns by a tight end. Tennessee finishes the year with 98 penalties. That is 7 less than 2022, and still 9 more than they had in year 1 under Josh Heupel. And then you have Jalen Wright, who rushes for just over 1,000 yards. And the running back position is going to be one of the most interesting conversations, I think, for this Tennessee team going into the offseason, because I think the understanding in Knoxville is that Jalen Wright is NFL bound the way he played this past season. Ramon, do you remember the last Tennessee running back who had 1,000 yards until Saturday?
1,000 yards?
On the ground.
Wasn't Arian, was it?
Nope, not that far back.
I was about to say, not that far back. No, not Torrin Poole. I don't know.
Jalen Hurd.
Jalen Hurd
was Tennessee's last running back to run for 1,000 yards. Jalen Wright, in his career now, with 1,013 yards this season, goes for 2,297 yards in his career, 13th in school history, for a guy that was never really the number 1 back until this year.
Yeah.
In about the, 2/3 of the season.
Yeah. Shout out to Beach Senior High School, Jalen Hurd. Wow.
That's right.
That's major right there. I did not realize that, Will. But the rushing has been good. It just hadn't been one individual that's done this type of work right here, man. Good on him. He should go. At that position at running back, you better go. We're watching the guy that transferred out of Tennessee, and Ty Chandler, that got drafted by Minnesota, is playing a significant role for Minnesota last night, too. The running back position, you better strike when you're hot. If I'm not mistaken, it's one of the main things that that Arian probably would have said he'd have left that year, our junior year, instead of coming back.
Right.
If we just being real.
Well, and Jalen Wright, too, hit a higher top speed than Tyreek Hill's top speed this season in his 75-yard touchdown run against Georgia. There is a need for backs that can run that fast. I almost wonder if Jalen Wright ends up being the Devin A-Chain of this upcoming draft class.
Yeah.
A day 2 or 3 running back pick that is there to return kicks and be a burner. I mean, the guy hit 22 miles per hour in his touchdown run against Georgia.
Even this year's draft, it's Blake Corum first round. Do we have a Bijan this year? No.
I don't know. I don't think there's a Bijan, no.
So we're all backs this year going to end up being 2nd, 3rd, 4th round guys. There are going to be some quality guys there, I think, for sure.
I mean, when guys like Keaton Mitchell are undrafted, shout out Pirates, Robert Walsh sitting there in the studio from ECU, but like when Keaton Mitchells of the world are doing what they are doing as undrafted guys, even if Jalen Wright is undrafted, he's still going to make more as an undrafted rookie than he would coming back for his senior season at Tennessee. And he's going to play. And I don't even think he's going to be undrafted.
Crazy. Yeah, no.
We'll talk to Austin Price about that coming up next. We'll also take a look at the long list of players who did go through Senior Bowl recognitions. How many of them could come back, and how many of the current Tennessee offensive linemen will be blocking for Nico Iamaleava next season as well? Austin Price discusses a pivotal week and month in Tennessee football roster acquisition for 2024 coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Genesis Diamonds. And right now at Genesis Diamonds, they are rolling back prices and finance rates so you can get headliner gifts for this Christmas. Maybe it's a pair of diamond earrings or that all new designer fashion bracelet or that dazzling 2-carat diamond ring. It's all more affordable because at Genesis, they've got special pricing across the board and zero interest financing for 5 years. Yes, 5 years. So you can get that $3,000 diamond pendant and pay just $50 a month or that $6,000 eternity band for just $100 a month. Everything's included in this amazing holiday offer. All GIA certified natural diamonds and all lab grown diamonds too. Even all of their luxury pre-owned Rolexes. Imagine this, y'all. A $15,000 Rolex for just $250 a month. You can even finance the sales tax. And don't let talk of rising prices and high interest rates dampen your holiday spirit. At Genesis, they are lowering prices and taking interest rates down to zero. So get that amazing gift they deserve and make your money go farther than ever. Merry Christmas from Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs on approved credit.
This music can only mean one thing. It's Austin on RKW, brewed by 8th and Roast. Get back to your phone calls coming up in just a few minutes at 615-737-1045 as we talk with Austin Price of allquest.com every single Tuesday morning at 8:20 here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, with Ramon Foster, Robert Walsh, our producer. I'm Will Bowling, Kayla Anderson with the morning off. And as always, if you miss any of the insider info with Austin Price of AllQuest, you can find that wherever you download podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or Stitcher, which I think is still a thing. Not positive.
Always a thing, Will.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway,
that's right.
There's so many different stuff, but.
As we're joined now by our very good friend, Austin Price. What's up, Austin? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are good, and we are ready for the chaos that is transfer portal season, Austin. How busy is this next week or two for you guys and just for college football programs like Tennessee that are about to start going shopping?
Well, it's pretty hectic. I mean, from a standpoint of, every day there's 13 different things you hear, and kids are going in until they're not, and kids are good until they're not. So, I mean, it's, this thing, it's kind of like throwing your clothes in the dryer. You're not gonna get them out in the same order you threw them in, because it just gets tumbled around and it definitely heats up. So, I mean, it's a wild and woolly time.
Certainly is. And Tennessee's little, I don't know what you want to call it. It wasn't really a fight. Wasn't really a scuffle. What would you call what happened between Tennessee and Vandy on Saturday, Austin? Because this is a game that a lot of people wearing orange do not consider a very big rivalry. And certainly we do not need to introduce the amount of hatred on the other side of this thing. And we saw some of it on Saturday between Tennessee and Vandy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, Will, it was, it's a Vanderbilt team that, it's hard. You're 2-9. You've lost 9 in a row. You have a bye week the next to last week of the season. So, it's almost like the season's over, but no, we're going to bring you right back. It's kind of like that high school team that doesn't make the playoffs but has a good enough record that they can play in one of those meaningless, extra games against another team that didn't make the playoffs that has a good enough record. You see it from time to time. Just not sure there was a whole lot of motivation out there for Vanderbilt. I mean, they came out, they threw their punch early, and then after that it was kind of and then they kind of got frustrated, and Tennessee got frustrated, and the good news is cooler heads prevailed kind of as they got into halftime and kind of come out in the second half and just got in, got out, and got gone.
Austin, man, I thought it was just the Vols, because there's all over here that have out of character moments, like running across the field from your own sideline to fight and not play football. What did you make of, a high institution like Vanderbilt football team doing something like that?
That no matter where you go to school, the highest of academic schools, the lowest of academic schools, you're still dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds. I make knucklehead decisions at 40. They sure make them at 18 to 22. So, I mean, it no matter where you go to school, that stuff, can happen because, kids are emotional. And this generation is probably a little softer than your generation and dramatically softer than the generations before it. That's why, I think the transfer portal is good in some ways. I think NIL is fabulous in some ways, and in some ways it makes probably everything a touch worse because now kids, there's no toughness. Hangnail, I'm going to the portal. Girlfriend breaks up with you, I'm going to the portal. Dog ate my homework, going to the portal. I didn't get the extra dollar I wanted in NIL, I'm going to the portal. I mean, it's that generation that it's just different. And I think that they can happen at any school. There's no school immune from it.
Austin, you mentioned something last week, and I kind of want to double back to it right now. So you say you've talked to kids or young athletes that's, said, oh, man, I think I made a mistake by not going to Tennessee, or whether that be somewhere else. And with that question that started off, but also this, have you had conversation with those types of athletes and families, because they're involved in it too, that this is a 1-year stint for them, wherever they decide to go to. Is that like a reality we live in too, where I'm a one and done no matter what?
I don't think that's the intention for most. I think that in some minds, especially if you're real NIL driven, that's kind of where, the adults in the room go to mentally. But I don't think the kids do that. I don't think the kids think this is a 1-year deal and then I'll hop in the portal and get another deal. I think, for the most part, kids still want to be recruited. They still want to have relationships. The adults around them may think differently, but I think the kids still at heart, it's changed some, but it's not changed dramatically. Like it's still a relationship business. You still got to build relationships. It's not as simple as, hey, highest NIL bid. With the high-end schools, they have a lot of money, it's, a lot of it's going to be apples to apples. And when it's apples to apples, it still comes back down to who do you feel most comfortable with being coached by? What relationship do you trust most? All those questions that, your generation from, 16, 17 years ago dealt with. It was about relationships for you, Ramon. It wasn't about anything else. And so, where do you feel most comfortable?
Austin Price of AllQuest with us this morning on RKW. Austin, looking at the list of players who did not go through senior day against Vanderbilt over the weekend, you've got 2 starters on the offensive line and Cooper Mays and Javontes Spraggins. Is there a chance that Nico Iamaleava next year, or let's just say whoever the Tennessee starting quarterback is in 2024, could have a lot of key pieces returning on this offensive line next year?
Well, let's go ahead and establish the starter next year will be Nico Iamaleava.
I would agree with that. I think that's a pretty safe bet, right?
I know you're trying to be politically correct.
That's right.
There's no competition. Anybody that suggests otherwise is not telling the truth.
Perfect.
Nico's the starter. I think there's a chance. Senior or Cooper didn't go through senior day. Everybody just said, "Oh, he's back," and I think he's trending back. But I don't think that this is some lock. Okay, I think most likely back, but it's not a lock. As for Spraggs, got the knee injury, and I think that probably is a big reason he didn't go to the T. I'm not sure he could have got to the T, and I think he'll be back next year. But a lot of these guys that could potentially return is still going to boil down to NIL. At the end of the day, all these schools only have so much NIL to go around. I know everybody treats it like it's monopoly money, but it's not. It's real money. And so you have to make decisions, and kids have to, understand that, just because they want, a fortune doesn't mean they're going to get, a fortune. This isn't Scrooge McDuck. We're not diving into the pit of money, So I think that each school that has these, 5th or 6th year guys that could return, they have to make decisions on who's important, who's not. And I think that's what you'll see with Tennessee, because, they have so many that could or want to come back. How much are those kids, from the NIL space, worth to bring back next year? But, I think the more you can surround Nico Iamaleava with veteran guys with quality players, the more it helps him in his first year as a starter.
Austin, do you get the idea that Joe Milton could maybe not opt out of the entire bowl game, but give way to Nico earlier than what we've seen in Tennessee's bowl game? What are kind of the things you're hearing about what that breakdown could look like in what we assume is Jacksonville in a few weeks?
I don't think that. I don't, unless Joe decides to not play, which could happen, I guess. But I would say if it's in Florida, he plays. Then I think you'll see Joe, and depending on how the game goes. If it's a close game throughout, then I think you'll see Joe stay out there. I'm not sure that there'll be some intentional move to go to Nico, just because it's a bowl game. Guys, coaches are competitive; they still want to win, and Tennessee would be looking for their 20th win in a 2-year span, which is an average of 10 a year. That's pretty good considering they've been so bad the last 15 years. So, I don't think that there'll be an intentional move as long as Joe doesn't opt out.
Austin, when you look at Heupel's 2023 season, man, I wasn't at the Georgia game or at the Vanderbilt game either. But, of course, Georgia game, it is what it was as far as people being upset about how the game played out and people criticizing this Heupel, the guy, not the guy, man. From your humble opinion, what is the consensus on Heupel and the expectations moving forward now that he's really settled in, shown he can recruit and develop guys? So I think that is one of the biggest selling points right now is the development for the most part of guys going to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's still a lot of excitement around Coach Heupel. I mean, again, they're going to be going for their 20th win in 2 years. I mean, that's remarkable considering, kind of where Tennessee's been the last 15. And, I think you like a lot of what he's doing. I'll continue to reiterate that the substitution patterns and blowout games blow me away. They drive me crazy. Because I think those are perfect times. I mean, if you go back, we'll put it on the east side of the state for high school football, like Maryville and Alcoa, they get in so many blowouts over here that they play so many freshmen and sophomore. By the time those kids are actually the starters, they've probably played, 8 or 9 games worth of football, like full games as far as like time out there on the field. When you have games that are blowouts and you still have your veteran guys out there deep into the fourth quarter, it's not helping your growth as a program. So there's stuff like that I think they've got to clean up. Brent Hubbs had the stat 2,656 snaps, and I've cited this a million times last few days because I love telling this. 2,656 snaps, not counting the 2 games that Jalen McCullough had the broken hand and had to miss during Heupel's 3 years here, or Tim Banks' 3 years here as defense coordinator. 2,516 of those snaps, Jalen McCullough was out there for. So only 140 out of the 2,656 snaps has Jalen McCullough not been out there. Tennessee's won 9 of those games by 30-plus points. That doesn't even count games like Saturday that were 35 and ended 24 that wasn't close, right? So, what are you doing? Why is Jalen McCullough out there all the time? Put some of these younger guys out there. Let them play. That's the stuff that I think they have to be better at going forward.
I will say this, too. Everybody look at Nico Iamaleava and kind of say, oh, man, he's so tall and slender. But the guy, when you see his reps in the game, in the stadium, he plays tough. The ability to, use his legs and that bend around, whatever it was, like a giraffe swinging his neck when he went for the first down. You've been around him, Austin. What kind of moxie does he have, man, and toughness and being ready for next year or either the bowl game?
I think he's got a lot of Hendon in him from the standpoint of he's never too high, never too low. He is a smooth operator. By the way, nice Tennessee toboggan there, Ramon Foster. I'm not sure about this Brave sweatshirt, though, Will.
It's a workout sweatshirt. It's all good.
But I'm just playing. But he is a smooth operator and, very cool, calm, and collected. He's a guy that I think a lot of, players on this team are ready to roll behind. I've talked to a number of them. I think that they're excited for next year. And, again, I think that, the more quality players you can put around him, the better chance he will have in year one. And, I think that's why getting a few of these offensive linemen back, whether it's even a guy like Gerald Mincy, helps him going forward. We'll see what Brew McCoy does, over the next, 7 to 10 days. I think you'll know a decision from 15. And if he's back, I think that's a huge help because I remember being out there when we taped Nico's commitment interview right before he committed out in Long Beach. And, at that point, Brew wasn't here, but, there was a lot of chatter out there about Brew. And he was super excited to think Brew would be coming to Tennessee because, he kind of watched him grow up out there in California. So I think that would be a great target for Nico in year one if Brew comes back.
Also, Price of Allquist with us. Austin, what is Tennessee's number one priority of what they need to add, in your opinion, in the transfer portal?
Offensive tackle, tight end. That's kind of where I would go on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, probably, defensive tackle, maybe safety, depending on, kind of where you feel like you're at there. They don't have a ton of safeties in the program. They don't have a ton of tight ends in the program. In fact, the only one that's will be left after the bowl game that's on scholarship is Ethan Davis. You have one committed in the class, so you're going to have to go that route. And so, I would definitely say kind of those areas on both sides of the ball.
Austin, at running back, with Jalen Wright having such a big season this year, is he just on to the NFL as a foregone conclusion? And what does Tennessee look like, in your opinion, at running back next season?
Well, I think we'll see. I don't think Jabari Small will be back. If I were a betting man, that's kind of where I would lean. I think Jalen Wright will go pro. And so you look at Dylan Sampson, you look at Cam Selden, and then you have Peyton Lewis and Khalifa Keith. So Lewis will get here in January, and then the other three are already on campus. So that's kind of where they're at. And then you add Deshaun Bishop, who will be coming back off of his injury where he had to miss the season as well.
When you look at this squad also, you got to kind of say to yourself, where will their weakest points be? And you got to hope that is not on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to the season that they have. Will they be able to replace guys if Omar Norman Lott leaves and, of course, Tyler leaving and the Big O? Like, where are they at on that defensive front?
I think Big O will be back. I think that that one's trending to him coming back. You got Elijah Simmons, you got Bryson Eason, Don Bailey, all of which could end up leaving, all of which could end up staying. I think Eason will be back. I think Elijah Simmons will be back. Does one of them kind of feel the itch to go and be this year's Amari McNeil, a guy who, was a backup at Tennessee and will go to a lesser program for NIL cash in and be a starter? Like Amari McNeil went and led to Colorado in sacks. Good for him, right? I mean, that's great. Now, he's also on 4-8 team versus an 8-4 team, but I just don't think that necessarily matters to all kids, the winning and the losing. So, he went and had a ton of success, and that's great for him. Does anybody get that itch? I mean, I think that's possible at any school. But when I look at Tennessee, I think the defensive linemen, because there's so many that play, I think would probably be a target to potentially see one of those. But we'll see. Again, they all could be back. Tyler Barron, I think, will be gone. And Omar Norman Lott, I would lean to him being gone, but I don't think that that's a lock at this point. Kind of like I don't think it's a lock that Cooper's back on offense. I think that it trends one way, but it's not a foregone conclusion. So the defensive line, has a lot of bodies that could potentially be back. And then you add in guys like David Hobbs, who played a lot this year as a freshman, Tyree Weathersby, who would have played a lot this year as a freshman had he not gotten had the hip injury back during fall camp. There's some nice young pieces, a Nathan Robinson, a Trevor Duncan, that are in this program that I know Rodney Garner will be pushing this spring, no matter who comes back or who doesn't come back.
Gotcha.
He is Austin Price on Twitter at Austin Priceless, covering Tennessee for VolQuest and On3. Bringing the goods on a Tuesday morning. Austin, we appreciate it as always, sir.
Definitely.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Austin.
Yes, sir. There's Austin Price with us, watching the show on 104.5 The Zone TV as he brings us some very interesting info on some guys potentially coming back for Tennessee. Omari Thomas surprises me a little bit.
Me too, and Cooper Mays. Wow.
That's right. So good stuff there from Austin Price. We'll react to that as the show continues. We'll also take a look at where Shaq Leonard is headed. Two teams emerging as the favorite for the former Indianapolis Colts linebacker. We'll tell you who coming up next. Wrapping up hour 3 on your Tuesday morning of RKW, brewed by 8th and Rose. 615-737-1045 is the number. Ron Slay coming up in hour number 4. We will get to Iron Bowl and the game coming up in 10 minutes. And the aftermath of Gravedigger in the left corner of the end zone for Alabama to beat Auburn on Saturday night down in Jordan-Hare Stadium. But first, Ramon Foster, Shaq Leonard is on a visit. He is headed to Dallas, and if all goes well, could potentially stay and just become a Dallas Cowboy. 3-time All-Pro linebacker who was waived by the Colts last week, scheduled to visit Dallas today, according to NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero, a potential replacement for the injured Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah, Dallas seems like they're always searching for a middle linebacker.
Because they draft him while they're hurt, a la Jalen Smith.
Yep, sure did.
And Leighton Vander Esch is a guy that I feel like is often injured. Maybe I'm wrong in assuming that.
No, he is. He's got the neck issue that he's always dealing with, if I'm not mistaken. He has that flat back, like neck roll thing going on at times, too. Oh, I had one of those.
They do?
I did. I kept catching stingers and whatnot. So I had to walk out there. I looked monstrous with it on, too.
Yeah, he's made 16 starts once in his career in a full season.
Yeah, they're always searching for it.
You feel like the Cowboys would be advantageous to sign him, no matter how his medical looked, just to kind of keep him away from the Eagles, who are also interested in signing him.
Exactly. That is the other contender.
Yeah, they have no visit set up with him just yet, though.
I think the latest report that I saw was that Philly feels like if he can leave Dallas without a deal, they feel good.
Okay, gotcha.
They'll let him back on the plane.
Gotcha.
The strategy for Jerry Jones.
Makes sense. They got a nice window. I got to give it to Dallas. As wild as their fans are, they got a good team. That what they do well is they beat bad teams like convincingly. Them against the Eagles is something that's got to be figured out. If they can't beat them, then they definitely can't make that type of Super Bowl run if they're going to run up against them.
I feel like what held Dallas back in the past is whatever their weakness was a massive weakness. Like I feel like in the late like 2015 through 2020, like their secondary was a big weakness. They would always give up massive passing games. They got Trayvon Diggs, who they lost at the beginning of this season, but they found good veterans to fill in the spots. Stephon Gilmore, Brandon Cooks at wide receiver, and then 5th-round pick Deron Bland leads the league in pick sixes this year.
Just going there. No, he broke the record, didn't he?
Well, I'm saying he leads
got 5.
the league currently.
Yeah. What is it? Interception for touchdowns also?
Correct.
6 of them?
5, I think.
5, yes.
5?
Because it was funny. On Thanksgiving, there was a prop bet for a Deron Bland pick 6. And in the bet, it had parentheses, he has 4. And somebody tweeted it before the game of like, all right, FanDuel, you ain't slick. Like, what do you, like, you don't need the parentheses. He has 4. And then he got one in Thanksgiving, and the guy retweeted himself. It was just like, oh, no. He now has 5.
Now he has 5. Wow. That was a cool play, boy. You want to talk about strain to get to the end zone. He was adamant on that. And I was wondering why they were super excited about it. I didn't realize he had taken that many to the house and had been that good. What is it, a 6th-round pick, too?
A 5th-round pick.
Late guy.
And he, when you watch him, it's not just like him beating everybody to the corner. That dude hustles on pick sixes. I think it was against the Panthers. He picked the ball off, did a front roll forward, got back to his feet, and then fought all the way to the end zone. Just scrappy. You love that.
Scrappy. Gotta love that, Bert.
Deron Bland has more touchdowns this year than Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle, Odell Beckham, T. Higgins, all of these players with less receiving touchdowns than a Cowboys corner who has 5 touchdowns as a corner on defense, not a Jeffery Simmons situation where they're moving him to offense. That's crazy.
That is pretty wild.
615-737-1045, the number. Coming up, the weekend headlines in college football. Alabama steals Auburn's fate, their heart, their soul. On the 10-year anniversary of the Kick Six, they got their own version against the Auburn Tigers. Details on that and the ensuing reaction in the world of college football coming up.
What's going on? 9 o'clock. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Sloppy game for Monday Night Football this week last night. Saw 6 turnovers for both teams as the Bears proved to be the shinier of two turds, winning their first NFC game of the Matt Eberflus tenure, 12-10 against the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs finishing the game with 185 passing yards, 1 touchdown to T.J. Hawkinson, and 4 interceptions. Chicago moves to 4-8, while the Vikings fall to 6-6 and remain clinging onto that last playoff spot in the NFC. Some football moves from around the league yesterday. Raiders released cornerback Marcus Peters. He's headed to waivers. He had an interception return for a touchdown in Week 8, but was benched last week. The move saves the team $1.5 million in incentives that Peters was on pace to earn. And the Dolphins expected to sign pass rusher Jason Pierre-Paul off the Saints practice squad onto their 53-man roster. A big-name edge addition after the Jalen Phillips injury. The Florida native lands in Miami. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
RKW is brewed by 8th and Roast for one final hour on your Tuesday morning. Welcome in. Hope you're staying warm wherever you are around Nashville, Tennessee, or beyond. Maybe you're watching on 104.5 The Zone TV, commenting in the F&M Bank chat where you can join a lively discussion always on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch.
Twitch, please.
You can head to 1045thezone.com, watch us there as well, or download the 104.5 The Zone app wherever you get your apps, whether you're a green texter or a blue texter. We're right there for your listening pleasure.
I don't know, man. We got to get Slay on the blue text. Every group chat we're in with Slay, all the texts go green. Change numbers on the team.
Be careful. The last time we did this, I think he boycotted the first 5 minutes of his weekly segment with us.
He did.
I'll have to talk to my client.
Do this at 9:50, not at 9:03.
They're claiming Apple is bending the knee a little bit on the blue and green bubbles a little bit. They did the charging port change that Droids do. So they're really in bragging camp as of late. I had a buddy of mine who recently switched over to iPhone. And great, happy, very happy for you, my dude. But we're in a group chat with one droid, and everybody was able to reply and hit like emphasis on certain stuff. I was like, what is going on here? Did I miss that update?
Interesting.
Yeah, weird.
I had a new phone update last night, so I guess my battery and now my cell phone will be much slower and worse starting today.
Well, they got sued for that. They can't do that no more. Yeah, at least I think so. Anyway,
We'll see.
They did get sued for that.
They did get sued for that.
Well, I know they got sued for it, but I feel like they still will be able to pull off whatever they want because they're Apple.
For sure. And other times I feel like my service is constricted in certain regions or certain places wherever I have full bars, and then I got to get on Wi-Fi to make my phone go faster. How does that make any sense?
I know.
Weird, is it not? Golly, phones, technology. Who would have thunk it? I tell you what, my teachers are wrong because I also have a calculator with me at all times now.
Yeah, and how dare they were like, you're not going to be able to get up and use the bathroom whenever you want. I'll be damned. I will here. I just get in Will's ear and say, hey, I got to go to the little producer's room. Text me
That
if
is
something
true.
goes
That does
wrong.
happen. Like if the board blows up, then that's on you.
And it's on you, man.
That's right.
Oh,
I'll make it work. I can produce from the bathroom.
I think you're a man
Producing
of many
something.
talents.
Go.
I don't know. That's a different kind of. It's a different kind of production in there, Robert.
Thank you.
That's what I produce best, sitting on taking my rightful place on the porcelain
We're
throne.
gonna flush these jokes. Michigan 30, Ohio State 24. Ramon Foster.
I
Did you
didn't hear
see
anything you said because I was trying to make eye contact with Bert because that was a good dad joke, and I
had
don't
a
want to hear
crappy
you.
joke? Really stinks.
You need to flush that one twice. You're not going to want to come in that studio for about 30, 45 minutes.
Hey, man, let's be a better upper deck crew. Okay, let's go.
Did Michigan show you enough on Saturday to tell you that they have a chance against Georgia?
Yeah, they did.
And it's only because of Georgia's lack of offensive production early for me at times. Georgia can get a little stale on you. Georgia Tech played them well. And I know
they did.
Tech doesn't have anywhere near the talent that Michigan has or anyone else. You know, like Georgia has those surprise moments. And Kirby has a way of having, halftime adjustments. And this is what Georgia gets you. If you play marbles with Georgia, or, slide quarters, slide them up against the wall, you'll eventually learn that, Georgia's got a lot of quarters. They got a lot of money. They got a lot of wealth on their team. And that's where they eventually beat you down. Like, you can play ball with them, but they eventually beat you down because they just have more than you. But this Michigan squad played well. They really gave it to Ohio State this weekend, I thought. As balanced as I've seen them be in a while, their deficiencies, they really don't have them. Heck, they're playing like 7-8 offensive linemen just because they can and they have the talent.
Right.
Blake Corum coming back looking as good as you need. Anybody that, what was it, ACL, if I'm not mistaken, last year for him? Blake Corum, he had a lower body injury. And he come back looking as strong as ever. We mentioned earlier, are there any, first-round running backs? I don't think so, but I think one of the best running backs out this year, depending on what his health says, is Blake Corum. They got receivers. Their quarterback can deliver at times. But to me, that defense, I feel like we need to look at the roster and see where they're from. I almost feel like they decided to, and this is, of course, regional bias here, but I think they decided to, recruit some kids from the Florida, Texas, Georgia types of areas, like the SEC country. That's what their defense looks like to me. They can bully you. They can get to the quarterback, and their back end is as solid as you need them to be. If there's a year for Michigan, it's this one. And I hope for the sake of us that love sports, they put them on opposite sides of the bracket so that they don't have to play in that first round of the college football playoffs.
Well, they do have a middle linebacker from Nashville, Junior Colson from Ravenwood High School.
Mm-hmm. And they got another commitment at Innsworth right now, too, at safety.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're dipping deep into the South as far as recruits go. And that's no diss to the Midwest or, Northeast or whatever they got going on in Big Ten country as far as recruiting. But I think a lot of people tell you there is a little bit of a difference from time to time on how you build that team up.
The thing I want to know is, can Michigan win a game where it can't run as much as it wants to and when they want to? Because J.J. McCarthy only had 148 yards and a touchdown. This was the third straight game, Ramon, that Michigan has won while its quarterback threw for less than 150 yards. But Blake Corum is good enough, and that offensive line is good enough in short yardage, that J.J. McCarthy doesn't have to do anything. In order for Michigan to win a national championship, J.J. McCarthy is going to have to win them a game.
When it's big on bigs? Yes, like the best of the best. Like, that's what we're really looking at with these national championships games. I think the exposure of TCU last year, also Kansas State, heck, throw them in there too.
And Big 12 champions last year.
You know what I'm saying? When they get to the big show, like, there is a difference in your guys versus my guys. So if they do have to face Georgia in those moments right there, the only thing that I'll say about Michigan is this. They have a lot of poise, and they haven't deviated from their plan whatsoever when it comes down to running the ball. Like, the quarterback not having to throw as much. Well, if we can move bodies in and out of this offensive line, and our tight ends can also block, and we got a run game with not just one back but two, it's kind of hard to say that they can't do it, Will, because Ohio State got some high prospects as far as their D-line goes, and they just simply are beating people up. Like, if I'm looking at OL, and I say this too, specifically interior guys, Michigan got the goods when it come down to it. And I know Georgia doesn't have Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. They got some guys, but I think Michigan, me sitting here in the studio this morning, can match some level of intensity. It's a matter of depth for them and how Georgia responds and send blitzes after their quarterback to stop that run game.
Alabama 27, Auburn 24, 4th and 31. For Jalen Milroe to Isaiah Bond in the back corner of the end zone keeps Alabama's playoff hopes on life support on the 10-year anniversary of the kick six. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. To me, weird things always happen in Iron Bowls in Jordan-Hare. And Hugh Freeze, when he's the head coach of a team, weird things happen when he coaches against Alabama. That is the perfect encapsulation of Hugh Freeze. That week of losing to New Mexico State and then being that close to beating Alabama. that is the entire Hugh Freeze experience. He will have a dreadful loss, followed by a game that you win, or in this case, should have won, against Nick Saban in Alabama. And I think Auburn fans need to prepare for this just being your life now. And I know the Alabama game has always been unique before Hugh Freeze got there, but that to me still is the worry with Hugh Freeze, is that he's capable of such a range between the best and the worst performances that his teams will give. And yes, I know it's year one. Yes, I know Peyton Thorne is not a legitimate quarterback that is going to have many opportunities to beat Alabama. And he did a good job getting those guys ready to play and game planning for that Alabama team. But I just think this is always going to be what Hugh Freeze is. It's what he was at Ole Miss.
I've never seen so many broken faces.
I mean, the audacity to spy a quarterback on 4th and 31. You deserve to win the game. You rush two guys and spy a 4th and 31. You really think Jalen Milroe is gonna beat 9 guys who are back in coverage to the end zone if you just send 2 even? Just blitz 2. Not have guys just trying to keep contained and hold up their alignment. Like, this was malpractice by Auburn on the last play of the football game.
It was, Will. It was a friggin', I'm talking about Picasso on the Bama side. I hate to even give Bama this type of praise. It was. My dog, hear me out. To block 2 DNs, 2 rushers, the hardest rushes to stop is a 2 or 3 man rush. Because there's so much that goes into it. You got to make sure the tackles are blocking their guys, and nobody does too much. If somebody needs help, then the ability to go assist them and not leave or hose out anybody else. It was so much, and he just danced and danced and danced, and the linebacker didn't dog Will and at least get him off his spot. He didn't get him off his spot, so I have to tip my hat to Alabama for execution. Perfect throw, perfect placement, perfect catch. It doesn't get any better than that. Well, as a sports fan, my mind was blown, and I can say that as a Vol that, Bama, I don't know who y'all had praying for you or what you had going on, but you don't get that play off. That's malpractice, Will.
It's like Auburn got payment back for all the lucky bounces it got over the past 10 years. I mean, I'm of the opinion that the kick 6 was not a lucky bounce. That's good football.
It's good football.
Right? You're ready to return a kick. I hate it when Alabama fans try to make the kick 6 a lucky bounce. It was not a lucky bounce. You were not prepared to stop a special teams play. Just like any other context, if you're not prepared to stop 1 or 2 plays, you deserve to lose the football game. But this was almost the payment back for the tipped Hail Mary they had against Georgia.
It is. This is also...
That was a lucky bounce.
Coach Harsin, the last coach, while collecting his check, is probably laughing his butt off now.
Crazy.
On the way out, what was the bigger play? The kick 6 or the play we saw last weekend?
4th and 31. To me, I'm getting no realer than that. 9 people were in coverage.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a great question.
I would probably say kick 6 because that Auburn team went to the national championship game.
Okay.
And I don't think this Alabama team is making the national championship game. I think Georgia's going to be just fine on Saturday in Atlanta. Just fine. It's going to be a fun one, though. We'll be hanging on to that one right after we call the 4A state championship game on TV Saturday morning.
I'm looking forward to that one.
That's right.
Pearl versus Upperman, right?
That's right. City of Nashville representing. And we go to a former Pearl Cone Firebird when we come back. Mr. Ron Slay stops by. Talk a little bit of college hoops with him, some Tennessee football, Tennessee Vandy. Who knows where it's going to go? You can never really be sure with Ron Slay. Find out next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hillard Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. And I actually had to hit them up yesterday, man. They're coming to my house for some plumbing stuff that I got going on. Tankless water heater. Come check that out and service it real quick. The real cool thing about Hillard is this. One, you can go to happyhillard.com. That is their website. I'll tell you again in a second. But you can book an appointment online with them. And they pretty much take out all the stress in it. Another thing they're doing right now, is they're giving away cash for the holidays, okay, with select purchases. And Hiller wants to make sure every child experiences a joy Christmas this year. They're donating $50 in toys to Toys for Tots for every tankless water heater purchase someone buys, and giving away a $250 Visa gift card with each unit. You can get a $500 Visa gift card when you buy select new HVAC systems, or another $500 Visa gift card with the purchase of a new whole home generator. And these purchases all have great financing options with low monthly payments. These deals are only available until the end of the year. So schedule today, like I did, at happyhiller.com.
It's RKW brewed by 8th and Roast right here on 104.5 The Zone. Talking a little bit of Vols here in our fourth and final hour. I hope we have not angered our esteemed guest who is joining us now. Robert Walsh is cutting his microphone on. This cannot be good.
My client has requested a 2-minute delay spawned from the Android slander.
That's crazy.
Will.
My client would also like it to be known that he used to be better than this, but you guys have brought him down to the slums, and now if you want to bring it down there, Slay has no problem banging in the paint.
Wow.
I still owe him his boxes of waters. That's still.
And see, he wanted to bring that up too. My client said that if you are not going to honor your end of the deal, then his side of the deal will also not be honored.
I also realize we also have to have NDAs moving forward so that he doesn't discuss this publicly anymore too. So whatever happens after you settle this for your client, Ronald Slay, aka Savage, then draw up the NDA also.
Now, listen, I'm going to bring Slay up. Slay, your phone will be up for discretion reasons, just if you would like to rebuttal with anything. But my client will not honor said agreement until the waters have been delivered. He will not accept Aquafina. He will not accept Deer Park. He will not even accept Fiji. He will only accept the water that was previously agreed upon.
That's okay.
Have I represented you well, Slay? He's still on that 2-minute delay.
Still on his 2-minute delay.
I can see him looking at a stopwatch right now, probably on his phone.
I know for a fact he got us on a timer. I know he does. All right, he gonna stand by his word. That song "Stand by Your Man." No, I just saw he put it in the chat. 25 seconds left.
My client would also like to be known that he needs to be plugged what he's doing. You need to make sure to give him fair access to our audience, and so they can follow what he's doing. You need to let him know that he's on assignment, as they say. He's doing his big boy job in addition to his big boy. He's a twice big boy. 2 big boy jobs for my client. I believe his 2 minutes is up, and you're free to speak if you want to do so.
Full strength. Ron Slay Ron Slay will now grace us with his presence. Good morning.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing, man?
I guess.
Better now. When you were late, I was curious if you were just trying to realize, maybe watching back the film on all of the 75 fouls called in the Tennessee-Purdue game last week or something.
Yeah, that was bad, man. I'm gonna be honest. You know what? And I think it's bad everywhere. In the sense, I saw Louisville just played the other night. They ended up finally winning the game, but they shot 49 free throws. So I mean, it's like teams that do that majority of the time, people don't lose. So I mean, especially when you got an unstoppable force like a Zach Edey down there, 7'4". About 280 that can move, man, and is agile and can shoot free throws. But it was interesting, man. That was gonna be my you're not that guy. That officiating crew out in Maui, man. Like, if you're too nervous, that's one thing I'll say, man. I like about TV Teddy. TV Teddy, if anybody knows, man, the black guy that officiates games, and he got in trouble as of late, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And got suspended, I believe, after a North Carolina game he got an incident, got into it with one of the players. TV said he got the name because you're not bigger than him. He's going to be the show. You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing about him, though. You always knew, hey, man, keep your mouth closed, just play the game, and everything will be fine. Like, for these officials to be this involved in a game in Maui, in Honolulu, but for the Maui Invitational, it was like, come on, dog, what are we doing here, man? The first half was fine. The flow was good. People were getting beat up. That's cool. That's part of it. If the tone is set like that for the game, let's let it be.
Yeah.
To come out in the second half and blow a whistle pretty much every single time down the court, that was ridiculous, man. That was totally ridiculous. And can you imagine if the game had gone to quarters? Like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, like universal basketball is. Imagine how long that game would have been then. We would have been in the bonus in the third quarter. We might still be just not getting into the fourth quarter. How many fouls they were calling, but it is what it is, man.
As a player, Savage, like, do you do you kind of concede to the fact that you can't play your game in those moments?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's more so about, like, okay, I'm going to adapt to whatever situation is thrown at me. Oh, okay, opening minutes before the media timeout, it's kind of dictated on how the referees are going to call the game. They're going to let you foul. They're going to let you be a little touchy. They're going to be sensitive. You know what I mean? You got to keep your hands off. In this game, there was no flow, meaning you couldn't understand where, man, can I go down here and meet the guy at a 7-4 guy? Can I meet him at the foul line and not let him get all the way up under the basket and post up? Can we bang a little bit? First half was yes. Second half was an absolute no. They let a 7-4 guy back a 6'6" Tobey Walker down after the second dribble they called foul. What is he supposed to do? He had his forearm on his back, which you're illegal. As long as you don't have two on them, you can legally have a forearm. You're supposed to take the first bump. The second bump, if you fall after he bumps you, it's supposed to be a charge. Tobey held his ground, so you're supposed to just let it play. When you got that situation going on, hell yeah, it's going to be difficult to play my game. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't figure out the flow. I can't figure out if I need to be aggressive. This guy already is 7'4". I can't figure out the advantage that I got in this situation. So it's tough, man. And that's when you go back to the bench, you ask the coach, man, what should you do? And honestly, they have no answer. So you kind of just out there in no man's land, wishing and hoping, man, that you don't get called for fouls. Hopefully you get a foul, get somebody fouled out. But yeah, it's tough to get a flow like that, man, and start playing the way you want to play.
Man, Savage, you are well-traveled, and you also have a whole lot of experiences, too. One of them is very particular to Tennessee, as you went through the exact same thing. Rick Barnes comes out on an article written by Grant Ramey on VolQuest that says, Zakai Ziegler is frustrated and pressing, but he'll get it. Coming back from an injury like that, ACL, man, how was it for you to catch your stride and just honestly be patient? Because it's simply what I think Coach Barnes is saying.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying, man. Like, it's difficult as a competitor. Luckily for me, my ACL happened in January, and so like the beginning of February, into January, I had my ACL surgery done. So I got back in, like I always tell the story, like I kind of cheated. I was sneaking to Nashville, getting shots up, then driving back to Knoxville doing my rehab. So I got released in 5.5 months. June 1st, I was released from. I was able to play anything contact. I was able to go full blown, play pickup and everything. And Chad was telling me the whole time, like, hey man, you gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. But it's difficult, man. The competitive fire burning in you, and you got to think. You left right when the tournament was about to start. So you know exactly what you would have meant to this team walking into the tournament. Then you come into this season and you already see how loaded you guys are. And honestly, the only thing you guys are missing is a force inside and a steady hand at point guard. And you can help with both of those by being able to get into the lane, getting drop-offs for a dude and Tobey Walker. And then on the defensive side of the floor, you see what happens. When he's in, 94 feet, you can pick up the guy. You can get him a little bit out of whack as far as their offense goes. And you also want to be able to get a rhythm for yourself. You know what I mean? You got things that you've been working on. He's got a shot that he's been working on. I'm sure he wants to showcase that. So that's the difficult thing. And then being able to see your team go down against the number 1 team and the number 2 team, knowing you could have made a difference if you would have played 30 to 32 minutes instead of 20, 24 minutes. Like, it's only 8 to 10 minutes, but, man, it makes a hell of a difference, man, when you're a guy that can impact both sides of the floor. And that's what Coach Barnes is doing. He's looking at the long game, man. What if we get you to rest 2 more months, get ready for SEC conference play, you get your rhythm, go in the conference tournament, play your best, then March Madness and play your best. Then we got a totally different thing. But Zakai, there's no way he's going to be able to see that. Too much of a competitor, too much of a leader on that team, and too much of the heartbeat on that team to be able to sit on the side and watch your team struggle in some instances as far as when it comes to not necessarily the toughness, but, man, the mental toughness of it. You know what I'm saying? You're the leader. you get to set the tone, and he's used to setting the tone. You can't set the tone from the bench.
Slay, how much tougher is it to make jump shots on a third game in 3 days and playing the number 1 team in the country the day after playing the number 2 team in the country? Because there's a lot of talk about, man, it just seemed like Tennessee missed some second half shots because you could tell they didn't have any legs left after 100 fouls were called the night before against Purdue. Is there truth to that, being tougher when you're more exhausted playing 3 games in 3 days?
Yeah, that's why you need depth. And I think that goes to what Coach Barnes is talking about, going down the stretch. When you look at it, you play a physical style. So I always try to explain to guards, and guards used to tell me, hey, man, you can't do what we do, man. We running around chasing guys. We picking up 94 feet. And my rebuttal is always, you can't do what I do. Try to go down there in the paint and bang with somebody over and over and over, and then the ball switches possessions. You got to run back to the other end, bang with them in the paint, communicate, and do all that. So you exert the same type of energy. The thing that's going to be left out is I'm in the paint. I got closer to the basket. So my legs and everything are not as affected as everybody else's. When you're shooting 24-footers and I'm shooting 5-footers, you know what I'm saying? I can combat that. So, yeah, it is a big difference in it, man. That's why it's always better to know how you're going to be able to play that style, because you can conserve energy and you can figure out what shots you can take, when you can take those shots, how much legs you need to put in those shots, and then the depth comes into play. You bang like that the whole game, fouling, and then you got to turn around and play against a free-flowing Kansas team that's going to be getting up and down. You're like, oh, man, like it is a difference. But, yeah, man, you got to be able to figure it out, and I think their depth is going to be something that's going to help them in the long run. You just got to get to that point.
In the short run, Slay, you go from Zach Edey to Hunter Dickinson and now Armando Bacot with North Carolina tomorrow night. Is there a tougher 3-game stretch that you could have against 3 big men than that in college basketball right now?
No, they do, and Toby Awaka better be hydrated, IV'd up, ready to work, because you're going to have to box these people out. You saw what Hunter Dickinson did. You know what I mean? Like, he did the same thing at Michigan. Like, he ain't like Edey, where he's a big force as 7'4", but man, that man knows how to use his body well, knows how to tap the rebounds to himself, knows how to get position. It's going to be the same thing for Bacot. I think that's one thing that you got to be able to counter, man. If you're doing a Tobe, you got to be able to go out there and rebound, man, and keep them guys off the boards. These guys getting up with double-doubles, even though they're playing a lot of minutes, you can't allow that, man, because I do believe the front court, outside of the Purdue game, the front court is what's hurting us. You know what I'm saying? The depth there and them being able to get some real production as far as offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding. They got to be able to do that. That's where I think that's the soft spot for Tennessee. And to counter that, if Adu and Toby box out, the 4 and the 3-man got to come in there and rebound too. Josiah did a good job of it early, but you got to stay on the floor. Dalton Connect got to get his butt in there and rebound. Josiah got to rebound. All these guys, Santi has a knack for rebound. You got to get in there and rebound, man. Anybody can get the outlet. You got to come down with that ball first and keep these guys off the boards. They do that, and it'll be fine. But Bacot is a monster. I don't think North Carolina is the team that they were last year. I do think they're better, even by by subtraction, with what's my man's name that went to Gonzaga? The guard. Anyway, you still get an opportunity to get out there and play, and they're a different team when they play in Chapel Hill. So
Caleb Love,
you got to be hitting on all the chords. Caleb Love, yeah, exactly, yeah.
He went to Arizona.
Don't have a wild card like Caleb Love. Yeah, he went to Arizona.
That's right.
I said Gonzaga, yeah, Arizona. So you ain't got a wild card like that, but you still do have the mystique of Chapel Hill. And the good thing about it is Tennessee has been there and played before. Barnes knows the ACC well, so I expect the ACC to come out on top.
Savage, I think that over the entire Maui invitation, there was one thing that kind of just stuck to me, and it wasn't bad. I guess everybody have their ebbs and flow, but Dalton Connect's lack of second half production, man. Where are you at on that as far as this? Because that's something that's, if you're him, as this generation like to say, like, we got to see him show up often, and he kind of went a little ghost on us, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was, man, him not understanding what it looks like to get those double and triple teams and having guys in the gaps. When you play high high caliber talent like this, Kansas did a terrific job of having somebody in the gap when he was trying to dribble. Like, you catching the ball on the wing, but in these first 4 or 5 games, he's been able to get that guy on the wing, beat him, and get straight to the cup or pull up. Now everybody knows that you putting the ball on the ground to go score. Yeah. So once you get you drive from the wing, say you driving from the right wing, you get into the left elbow, that point guard or that top guy is sitting right there in that gap. You got one dribble, you better be able to make a decision because they're going to put that hand right there and make you give the ball up. So you got to be a willing passer, a creator as well, too. And then you'll be able to get your buckets a little easier. So it ain't number film. It's number film. And I think that's why I think a little bit of it was not only him, it was Coach Barnes taking him out, teaching him a lesson early that, hey, man, you can't keep driving in there trying to do a spin move. Those guards are going to come in there and swipe the ball away. That's what they're going to do. They're playing in the gaps for a reason. You can't drive the gaps. You got to go on and do what you're going to do and get on out of there. So it was a lesson taught, you know what I mean? And he had 3 straight turnovers. I would have took him out too. Same thing for Zakai.
Right.
Zakai coming across court had 3 straight turnovers. Like, come on, man, you got to take care of the ball. I know you're trying to get your rhythm back, but these people make millions of dollars to coach and come up with schemes to stop you. That's what they're supposed to do. So it's just, he coming from Northern Colorado. It's going to be cool. You know what I mean? He came off and got busy, and it's also up to everybody else. Think about this. If Gainey is making those shots that he was missing, that same defense is not crowded up on Dalton Connect. If Santi was shooting the ball against Purdue like he was against Kansas, those same gaps ain't clogged up. If Josiah was making shots the same way he was against Syracuse, those same gaps ain't clogged up for Dalton Connect. The floor is more space. That's why he was able to do what he was doing because everybody else was making shots as well. So if they make shots and they play up to their game, Dalton Connect will be free flowing and it'll be real easy for him again.
So you want to talk a little Tennessee football after the break?
Man, I'm with talking with anything. And if I see you alley oop I'm watching it on the camera too. If I see you alley oop one more time to Moan, and Moan ain't got no basketball, I'm hanging up and I'm taking 2 more minutes, Bert. Put that on the docket, Bert.
All right, I'm skating on thin ice. We'll see if I crack the ice. Talk some Tennessee football coming up next. RKW is brewed by 8th and Rose for one final segment this morning. Appreciate Austin Price. Appreciate you for joining into You're Not That Guy. And we always appreciate Ron Slay, who I'm told has a You're Not That Guy. Slay, you have the floor.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, real quick, I ain't going to take too much time because I know you want to talk about Tennessee football. But listen here, man. I had to have you're not that guy for everybody body built like mine with their insides built like mine that's over 40. You know what I mean? I'm 42. And let me tell you something, man. What you ain't going to be able to do is I like to have a nightcap when I get in. So I got in last night about 10. You know what I mean? Go down to the bar. Hey, man, let me go and get, double shot of Tito's on the rocks. You know what I mean? Go and take it up to my room, chill out, kick my feet up. So I was a little hungry. So I had some Uber Eats. You know what I mean? Told me, I'm going to get a little 10-piece Wendy nugget. You know what I mean? Bring it through. I should have went on stage with the barbecue. I went on stage, let me get the sweet and sour and barbecue. I did a little mix thing going on, which I shouldn't have did, but did that anyway. Laid on down, woke up this morning, knew I was going to first watch before I jumped on with y'all. Went to first watch. Got me the nice little, I usually get the Italian omelet. I went with the trifecta this time. Got my nice little waffle. With the eggs, I got an extra egg. Scrambled them junks up with a little cheese, little mushrooms, spinach, and onions in that bad boy. You hit me. So that thing was hitting, Dree.
I didn't know they had that option.
Thing was hitting, Travis. Man, so yeah, it's Travis. You got to roll with your boy. So I had that option slide through on me. I hit that up. Now, on the way back, it ain't nothing but 0.2 miles from my hotel.
Yeah.
On the way back, I say, you know what? I'm going to stop right here at CVS, get my little face wash. I like to take care of my little face, get my little Neutrogena face wash, give me some nice cocoa butter. I mean, for them ankles and them wrists and them hands when you be on TV. So I said, let me go and stop on that. So I go into CVS, jump in there, and I pick up the Neutrogena face wash, and I felt a little rumble. Felt the little rumble down under. You know what I mean? I know WWE Monday Night Raw was in Nashville last night, so I was thinking it was, Jelly Roll was talking to me, but it wasn't. It was my stomach. And my stomach told me, hey, boy, you better get to that bathroom.
Oh, no.
I don't know how you going to get there. You better get there. And Dree, Savage, I clenched. I had to clench. I had to lock it. You know what I mean? I took about 2 steps, and I thought I had a little crop dust going on. And y'all, I'm ashamed to say, man, crop dust was like a little cool little baby pebble. I say all that to say, hey man, if you think you can hit Tito's at night, it's a little 10-piece nugget, and then wake up in the morning and don't shake it down and go get you some eggs and put all that spinach and stuff in there, your body ain't fit for it, man. So I'm not that guy, man. You gotta know your body. You gotta know your body, because if you think you can crop dust in CVS, it might not be real crop dust. It might be a little pebble.
Oh. You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Yeah, I wasn't that guy, man.
Instead of crop dusting, he was dropping crops.
Planting seeds. Oh,
Hey.
my favorite thing is when Ron Slay says, "I'm gonna just tell the story really quick because I know you want to talk about something else," and then proceeds to take almost the rest of the segment telling the story. Slay, I'm not mad about it. I'm just glad that you're consistent.
You always know what you're gonna get, Will Lee. That's what you say, man.
Oh, my dog.
Wow.
Hey, I know that's why you always carry an extra pair of underwear, baby.
Hey, boy, and guess what? You got to stay loaded with the dude wipes. But I left everything in the room. But guess what, though? I got a whole little pile right here. I'm going to take it down to the front desk and let them figure it out. Make sure you got it back to my room by lunchtime. Yeah.
That's a new evil Slay laugh to save there, Robert. Slay, on the way out then. Oh my God! I don't even know how you can come back from that.
You can't.
From that crap. What stood out to you the most for Tennessee and Vanderbilt and the stinky day for Vanderbilt and Knoxville?
Yeah, man. I think you handled what you were supposed to handle. That I think it was supposed to be a little bit more. I do think so, but man, it's got to be a tough spot, man. When you look at, I know what Tennessee is. You got out the season with 8 wins. It's understandable. You know what I'm saying? Underwhelming to some, right there on the border with some others. You know what I mean? And everybody, I can't make everybody happy. But
Right.
I want to take the side of it looking at Vandy, man. Dog, I heard y'all talking about it earlier. Man, just imagine the situation you putting Clark Lee in, man.
Yeah.
A dude to come back fighting for his school, Nashville natives, you know what I'm saying, trying to get it on the right path, getting the culture set. And then you got kids leaving, man. Like, how do you fight? I don't know what they're doing NIL-wise or academic-wise. I know it's high standards to get in there, but, man, what you expect the guy to do, man? Like, what you expect the guy to do as far as getting kids in there to be able to stay in there when you got other people, even like Nebraska, approaching people with NIL deals, man? That's going to be tough, man. I'm going to be real, man. I hate that for Clark Lee, dog. I hate that he got to go through that because I know it's hard. You know what I mean? I know how genuine he is. I know how you want to win, but it's tough, man, when you got all these forces pushing against you, man. So whatever y'all can do, Vander, y'all help him out, man. Y'all got to get right over there, dog. We want to see y'all. We know y'all in the bottom cellar, but we left the door open. Y'all can come upstairs and eat and everything, you know what I mean? Y'all ain't got to stay down there in the bottom, you know what I mean? But y'all got to help him out, dog.
Hey, Savage.
That's a tough spot to be in.
It's crazy because we saw a few things that happened on social media this weekend that never happened at other universities. One, Texas A&M hiring and firing its coach, Mark Stoops, on social media, and Vandy in that same context, Savage, rushing the field to go fight. Can you imagine the conversation we'd have heard from all these folks if the Vols had done something like that? I just need to know because from what I understand, it don't happen at other schools. It's only at Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, it would have got a little bit ugly. But that's the classless people up there on Rocket Top, man, always acting like that when something goes wrong. You know what I mean? You look at the Florida game, it was a big dust-up all about what Tennessee should have did or shouldn't have done, but let the same thing happen to them, and whose fault is it then? Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We like being a bad guy. Say goodbye to the bad guy. I watched The Godfather all night last night, too, y'all. That was great. If you didn't watch The Godfather in a while, go watch it.
See, them the luxuries of having an afternoon show. That's what that is.
Hey, Savage. See? That's what, Bert, next Tuesday, 3 minutes, Bert.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, Bert.
We will talk to Ron Slay at 9:22 and not a second sooner next Tuesday. Ron Slay, thank you. The plug is that man's in studio tonight for some college basketball on SEC Network. Maybe I can get one of those minutes back for us next week. We've got Kayla Anderson back with us tomorrow morning. The show will be whole once more. We'll have Grant Ramey talking Vols and UNC hoops coming up tomorrow night. We've got Rhett Bryan. We've got you for 4 more hours tomorrow morning. Don't we, Remote Foster?
We do. Well, let's do it. It'll be Hump Day Scout Meeting Wednesday. A lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline tomorrow, man. But at all times, y'all got to remember this, man. Your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.